All right, Mountaineer Nation, we are live leading up to today's kickoff of the noon Eastern between our beloved West Virginia Mountaineers and the Texas Tech Red Raiders on rivalry week. I'm sure if you're like me, you're wishing that a backyard brawl was being played today, but instead it'll be Mountaineers, Red Raiders, and this will be a tall task. So West Virginia looking for its first top 5 win in the regular season for the first time since the Mountaineers beat the hated Virginia Tech Hokies back in 2003. That was an amazing game. We can all remember that one. If you're as old as me or older, that was just such a legendary victory in the history books for head coach Rich Rodriguez and the program. So today, bringing in Texas Tech again, 11-1, tied for first with BYU atop the Big 12 standings, and things have changed in the last 12 hours. I tell you that college football, especially like news, changes at the speed of light, it seems like. So all of the stuff that I feel like I talked about in yesterday's preview show, just kind of throw that out the window. So what changed last night, and I kind of said that things kind of had to fall Texas Tech's way for or for some other teams, namely Arizona State in the conference. So they played in the Territorial Cup last night against in-state rival Arizona and got walloped 23-7, didn't score in the second half after leading 7-3 at halftime. So with their loss, Texas Tech and BYU have already punched their tickets to the Big 12 championship game. So with that being said, what is their motivation? That's what I always talk about in my preview videos, or what's on the line for both teams. So for West Virginia, we know they're not really playing for bowl eligibility today, but for Texas Tech, I think kind of the motivation for them is that they want to keep pace to earn either a top 4 seed for the college football playoff so that they have a first round bye. But do they manage that with trying to rest some of their starters? Now, the comments that I've got from fans and on the last couple of weeks, who I've said that on some of my videos, have said there's absolutely no way Texas Tech is going to rest their starters for this game. And I could agree with that. I think they're bold, they're brash, they want to come in, they want to slay, they want to, take it to the Mountaineers. So I wouldn't see if there was a first play bomb down the sidelines or something for Baron Morton to try and go over the top on West Virginia's secondary to try and make a statement, play ahead with a lead early. So I got my handy dandy scoreboard here, so we'll be able to keep score. So you can listen to me. For those who aren't watching the game on television, I'm going to try and do a little bit of play-by-play while at the same time of giving a little play breakdown and commentary. So if you're not watching the game, so you're not seeing video, hopefully that'll be helpful for you. But if you are watching the video at the same time as listening to me, might be a little bit of overkill because you're watching it at the same time, but hopefully you take something away from it. So I see we got a few people logging on and tuning in. So love to see an active live chat. So if you could just put down your name, put down wherever you're watching from, that would be fantastic. And I'll try and answer any questions that come up during the game. I'll try and, draw. Oh crap. I don't have my handy dandy whiteboard around me. So I'll try and break down some of these plays as best as humanly possible, and hopefully I can be entertaining for you for at least 3.5 to 4 hours. So once again, the big news going into this contest, Arizona State losing the Territorial Cup last night to Arizona, changing the complexion kind of for this game because we don't really know how the motivation for Texas Tech is going to once again come into this game. They want to win, but do they want it to despite the bumps and bruises and, putting in potentially harm's way any of their starters, knowing that next week they're going to have to play in the Big 12 championship game for the first time ever to then potentially punch a top 4 seed ticket for the college football playoff. Meanwhile, for West Virginia, I guess some injury news that came down just before kickoff here. I was checking Twitter. If you see me pull out my phone during today's broadcast, I'm just trying to keep up on statistics for you to talk about throughout today's game. Would have to talk about recruiting because this is a huge weekend for West Virginia football recruiting and going to be a huge, next week and month. Hey, Kevin, see your comment here. So, are you showing the game? So, no, unfortunately, I cannot show the game because that would be a copyright violation. So, I would get shut down on my stream. So, this is what you can do. So, I will do my best to try and describe the action on the field for you all, what's happening, give you some live commentary. But no, I cannot show the game, and I can't have any audio broadcast or I'd be flagged for copyright issues. So this is what I can do for a live stream broadcast. And I got the score for you. You'll get some comments from the West Virginia Swami, my partner in crime over here. So as I was saying, some news on the injury front for West Virginia going into kickoff. Unfortunately, Preston Fox has been downgraded out for this game. So fifth-year senior will obviously participate in the senior day festivities, which I'm sure if you're at the game right now in Morgantown, you'll be seeing this live. So congratulations to the 40 seniors, including Preston Fox, who are out there, some other fifth-year guys like Eddie Vesterinen on the defensive line. And I'll give a shout out to all these one-year guys, all these guys who bought into head coach Rich Rodriguez and this coaching staff and the shot to come in and play Division I Power 4 football for the Mountaineers. For 1 year, taking on a lot of different starting roles or in rotational roles. So congratulations to all those 40 seniors on a true blue Saturday down in Morgantown. It's a cold one, so if you're there in person, I'm hoping you're bundling up. I hope the wind doesn't blow too much. It definitely feels like that, early winter Saturday game. So late in November. So here, just a couple of minutes before kickoff, college game day is wrapping up from Ann Arbor, Michigan. West Virginia going to come on to the television screen between West Virginia and Texas Tech. Thanks for your comment here. Subscribed from you being on Paul's show. You had best summary of the basketball that I've heard this year. Thank you. I wish it wasn't such a down last weekend between Clemson and the Xavier games. Just man, the basketball team, they're going to turn it around tomorrow. They're going to pick up the pieces. I'm sure it's been a good week of practice with Ross Hodge and the boys to get back down to the basics. Jackson Fields, as we talked about on Paul's show, is coming back into the lineup. Chance Moore has now gotten a little more familiar 2 games into play. So the young guys, the older guys, everybody's new, trying to fill out their different roles on the team. They'll be able to take it against a Division II opponent in Mercyhurst, and they'll, I'm sure, right the ship. So then within the next week, taking on Wake Forest down in Charleston. So that'll be a fun one. But I would say for the basketball team, West Virginia's got to take, I feel like, it would be great to have both of those games, both Wake Forest and Ohio State later in the month of December to round out conference play. I think 11-2 in their 13 games or something like that going into conference play against Iowa State. So looks like they're taking they're doing from the Michigan, Ohio State, if you're watching game day still here on ESPN. So just before kickoff here at noon Eastern, West Virginia taking on Texas Tech. So that big weekend for recruiting that I mentioned just a little moments ago. So the big recruit on campus for West Virginia today, 4-star linebacker, hard commit as of this past May to Penn State, being Matthew Lama from Manassas, Virginia, 6'3", 220. So it'd be great to get a commit out of him today. If you've been following the social medias over the course of the last 72 hours, it seemed like the night before Thanksgiving, there, I guess, two let's go tweets with gifts from offensive he's not the offensive coordinator, but senior offensive assistant Travis Trickett. And the rumor is West Virginia's got some big fish. So whenever the West Virginia official Twitter account posts that, the fist pumping Rich Rodriguez gif, that must mean that West Virginia has some big fish that we just don't know about. And with early signing day being this upcoming Wednesday, maybe we'll know as early as this Wednesday. I already said if it's Chris Henry, Jr., if West Virginia flipped the 5-star wide receiver from Ohio State to West Virginia, obviously being a legacy. His dad, Chris Henry, playing for the Mountaineers in the early 2000s. I was at the game against Maryland in 2004. That would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. All right, so we got the game broadcast, or the broadcast switching over from game day to the West Virginia game right now. Pretty decent crowd, it looks like, at Mount. Well, a little sparse, Looks like if you brought everybody down from the second level, you might fill out the top bowl or the bottom bowl. I was wondering that with, no bowl eligibility to play for, kind of cold day. Thank goodness the sun is out. There's no snow or rain or anything like that. But yeah, clear skies in Morgantown. Looks like the folks are starting to kind of fill in. I hope they can create, even if it's just the kind of traditional WVU game day atmosphere that we know and love and respect. Oh man, who are these guys? I don't even know. Roy Philpott and Sam. Oh, and Sam Acho. Okay, I knew it was one of the Acho brothers. So yeah, a little sparse crowd there in Morgantown at Milan Pushkar Stadium. But as we know, the first like 5 to 10 minutes before kickoff are always like hit or miss with people coming in from the parking lots, getting concessions, filling in, and stuff like that. Wrapping up again senior day activities for West Virginia, 40 seniors being honored for the Mountaineers today. And they have a tall task against the number 5 Texas Tech Red Raiders, led by Baron Morton, who, according to my man Mountaineer Paul, is playing today's game with a stress fracture in his leg. I guess he was in a walking boot throughout the team's bye week last week. Said he didn't need it, but head coach Joey McGuire said, hey, we're going to just take the precautions, stay in the walking boot as long as possible till we need you. And they are going to start Baron Morton today. Will Hammond down with a season-ending ACL tear in the team's game against Oklahoma State about a month ago. So if Baron Morton, either due to injury, if he aggravates that stress fracture, or coaching decisions, could turn to Mitch Griffiths, the third-string quarterback for them. But they have so much firepower at so many different positions on the offensive side of the ball. Now we're seeing Scotty Fox on screen trot out for the Mountaineers. West Virginia, losing to Arizona State 2 weeks ago, 25-23, a game which I had the pleasure of being in attendance at Mountain America Stadium out in Tempe, Arizona. It was such a amazing experience to be out there to cheer. I can't believe a conference game, freaking 2,000 some miles away from home, but it's a conference game between West Virginia and Arizona State. It was a tremendous atmosphere that from the Mountaineer contingency, the few 5 sections that I were in, I feel like us 5,000 there were as loud as 50,000 from Arizona State. And it just, man, seeing that game or finding out the final score and the manner in which Arizona State lost, you can't help but feel like West Virginia lost a game in which it should have won after they lose terribly 23-7 to Arizona. But that's okay. We're moving on. Last game, senior day for these Mountaineers in this 2025 edition, the first season of the second stint of head coach Rich Rodriguez's stint in Morgantown as head coach. Doing pregame warm-ups out onto the field. Again, it looks cold, but it's sunny. So if you've ever experienced a game day in Morgantown, in which you have both, it feels a little bit warmer in the stadium. So I wonder how these guys from West Texas, because it gets cold there too. So I think they're going to be okay with it. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with West Virginia here and Texas Tech. Texas Tech on the defensive side of the ball, having one of the nation's best at linebacker, and Joey Rodriguez. They're showing head coach Joey McGuire trying to both Texas Tech and BYU have already earned berths into the Big 12 championship game. So that's a big moment for that Texas Tech program that's gone all in on this season of trying to get to the Big 12 championship game for their first time ever in program history, and then getting to a college football playoff to try and put themselves on the map. as one of the top dogs of this Big 12 conference post Texas and Oklahoma. Great slate of games today. Oh, this is the creme de la creme of the college football season. Alabama and Auburn in the Iron Bowl, 7:30 tonight. Oregon, Washington at 3:30. Lots of great games. This is obviously the one that we most care about between our West Virginia Mountaineers and Texas Tech Raiders. Oh, seeing a great comment here. My dad flew out to ASU as well. Glad we made it to a game. He said the ASU fans were super welcoming and A-plus bar scene. Yeah, Zips the night before was pretty fun. Got to take that in with my family, and my daughter was still dancing around at 8 o'clock at night and loving the music there. It was a fun time out there in ASU. So here we go. We got kickoff. West Virginia going to be receiving the ball, going from left to right on my television screen. No Preston Fox, as I mentioned pregame. So it looks like that was Andre Devine back there to return, went over his head. So in the end zone, touchback. West Virginia will start out with the ball on its own 25-yard line. Texas Tech's defense, one of the best in the country, fourth in FBS, only allowing 12 points per game, seventh in FBS, only allowing 266 yards per game. West Virginia has to own the time of possession in this game, the way Arizona State was able to do against the Red Raiders. So snap goes back, handoff up the gut, about 2 or 3 yards will go Sincere Bowers. Keep that clock moving. Pretty predictable play call on the very first series. Keep Texas Tech honest. But I'd like to see how Scotty Fox attacks Texas Tech downfield. When will those shot plays come? So trips left. Snap goes back to Scotty, throws out to the flat to Bowers, but behind him, out over to the sidelines, incomplete. Now 3rd and 8. Wow, look at this puffer jacket on Rich Rodriguez. My goodness, that is massive. But 3rd and 8 for the Mountaineers. You don't want to have short 3-and-out series, especially when you get the ball out to start, meaning Texas Tech is going to get the ball at the beginning of the second half. So snap goes back out of the shotgun to Scotty, being pressured. 2 guys. He's got him back at the 10. Oh, goodness. And that is Romello Height for his 8th sack of the season for the Red Raiders. And that's absolutely not what you want. Just Kimo Makaneole just let the man through. Miscommunication with right tackle Tykees Crawford. Crawford had his man in Height, but the man, I don't know what Kimo Makaneole's doing there. Just let him through after Scotty. He's got nowhere to go. I know they have this zone blocking scheme on the offensive line, but just that's your man right in front of you there. And you just let him through. All right. And a decent punt by Ollie Straw, bounces back. Yeah, that's what West Virginia is going to have to do on this day is sustain drives. Its defense, if it can continue to stand on its head like it's done post the UCF game, I think they can keep Texas Tech in check if they can set pressure after Morton on this day and come after him for 4 quarters. But not the way, obviously, that you'd want to start out the series, just looking inept right there for West Virginia. So Texas Tech will take over, 13:44 to play in the first quarter from their own 43-yard line. Morton out of the shotgun, fakes to Dickey, throws out to the outside, near side, and that's a catch for a first down. Carter Jr. being covered by Michael Coates. Just, wow, really, Coates gave him way too much room over there. Pickup of about 12. Now to the 46, handoff to Dickey up the middle, and he's stuffed but pushing forward against 4 Mountaineers, and they bring him down for a short pickup already near field goal range for Texas Tech. I don't know about if they're going to be trying any 58-yarders on this day, but they have the ability to. So Texas Tech going up tempo, 2nd and 9 now. Carter Jr. going in motion and a false start against Texas Tech. The right tackle moving, so that'll back up the Red Raiders 4-5. West Virginia, I will say, done a decent job. That was one of the things I wondered about if we would see and it was more prevalent, I feel like, in the first half of the season, but done a pretty decent job, I feel like, so far this season with penalties. That was something that the Neil Brown regime did a pretty decent job of. It felt like over 2023 and 24 in West Virginia. It didn't seem like it's been such an uptick in penalties this year. So screen pass swatted away. Asani Redwood in on the play, just read that from the get-go, and he's kicking himself. He wanted that interception, got a paw on it. That'll bring up 3rd and long for the Red Raiders, and they're back on the line of scrimmage. They're looking to call a play. West Virginia's defense better man up. So 4 wide, Twins left, Twins right, from the just over the 50-yard line in West Virginia territory. 12:49 to play. Morton barking out signals, sending Carter Jr. in motion, so trips to the far side once again, throws it out to him into the flat, gets to the outside, picks up about 10, but he'll, with the penalty because of the false start, he'll be short. We'll see if Texas Tech goes for it, and I wouldn't be surprised Joey McGuire is going to want to try and go for it here. I don't think they want to kick a 58-yard field goal. Yeah, this is what they did in 2023. Once the weather started getting nice, I was at that game, the outer bands of Hurricane Ophelia affecting play on the field from pretty much the first quarter on. And once the skies cleared, Baron Morton-led offense wanted to go for it nonstop against West Virginia's defense. So here he goes, throws out to the back. He's uncovered. Jason Chambers just lost Cameron Dickey there on the play. Or no, sorry, scratch that. Not Dickey. It was Jacoby Williams, their 3rd down back, really great pass catcher. Just leave him wide open into the flat. Defense, come on. You got to step up there. That was your opportunity. 3rd and 14, and they give up a 4th down. Substitutions. Texas Tech substituted, so West Virginia's got to get its men off the field. They're now matching up. Texas Tech going up-tempo, nearing the West Virginia red zone. Snap goes back to Morton, throws it high to Williams, evades Fred Perry, gets knocked quickly by Chase Wilson, and then Reed Carrico finishes off the tackle. Just this West Virginia defense, just I feel like, come on, they're being very reactive on this drive to whatever Texas Tech is doing. Got to get lined up, got to play faster. Carter Jr. Stiff arms Fred Perry, cuts back on a couple of defenders, down inside the 2 and down to the 1. Man, this I don't know what our West Virginia's defense is doing here. Just looking slow, not matching up well with Texas. They're not doing anything difficult. Snap goes back up the gut. Flag on the play. I don't think Texas Tech got a man off the field. I don't know if we're going to have an illegal substitution. We'll get the call here. Now 11:28 to play in the first quarter, and Texas Tech is down to the West Virginia 2. I'm just saying, like, Texas Tech is not doing anything difficult out there. Just easy pitches and catches to the sidelines or off play action, throwing to backs out into the flat. Just West Virginia's defense just looks slow. They're not man. They're just losing their man. Yeah. So, legal substitution against the Mountaineers. It looked as if I saw, some red coming off the field on the near sideline. But yeah, so half the distance to the goal, 1st down still for the Red Raiders. They're going to punch this in for 6. This is just not the start you wanted for West Virginia if you want to try and win this ball game. Playing down from behind is not going to be an advantageous thing for the boys in old gold and blue. So Morton's going to keep it himself. He powers it in for the touchdown. Oh, actually, that's not Morton. That's Jacob Rodriguez. So Texas Tech pulls Baron Morton for Jacob Rodriguez. He comes out of kind of a wildcat, fakes to the back, and punches it in for 6. So we got to update the Fox scoreboard here. Oh my! And of course, all of the cards are sticking together because I haven't opened it yet. 5-6 go the Red Raiders. How you feeling, Mountaineer Nation? You loving this start like I am? Goodness gracious. Not a good showing by the West Virginia defense. Now 6 on the board for the Red Raiders with the extra point. And through that 7. Wow. Numbers really annoying me here. All right. Thanks for tuning in. If you can leave your comments here in the chat, would love to have this be kind of like an engaging broadcast. Let me know your name. Let me know where you're watching from. Texas Tech coming out with their first offensive series of the game, and they drive it all the way down 4-7, 8 plays, 57 yards, just 2 minutes and 27 seconds worth of clock, and 27-yard catch on second down by Carter Jr. Sets them up inside the West Virginia 2. They punch it in for on their next play from Jacob Rodriguez, their Heisman candidate. I think he's definitely deserving of an invitation to New York, but I don't know, man. If who is the linebacker for Notre Dame back? Monte Teo. If Monte Teo couldn't win a Heisman Trophy back in 2012, I don't know if a defensive player can win in today's. Hey, Daniel, thanks for tuning in. All right, a Texas Tech fan. Let me know how you think, if it's very objective, or if you sense some sort of subjectivity listening to a Mountaineer fan broadcast the game for you. So if you're just tuning in, Daniel, your Red Raiders are up 7-0. West Virginia's offense came out terribly slow. Couldn't pick up anything on their first 3 plays. Kind of a decent to below average punt by Ollie Straw, setting up Texas Tech near midfield, and they drive right down the field in 8 plays. So West Virginia just kind of looking slow on both sides of the ball to start out this game. Texas Tech drives right down the field. And as we talked about pregame, Texas Tech already punched its ticket to the Big 12 championship game next week against BYU. That was a game that Texas Tech dominated a few weeks ago, had College game day in attendance down there in West Texas, and they took it to the Cougars. So I wonder what the spread would be coming into that game in Arlington. So closer of a home game for Texas Tech, obviously, than BYU. I think that game would at least be somewhere between 7 and 10 points of spread, I feel like. The Texas Tech, I mean, they just look like a juggernaut out there. They've proved that all season long. Didn't play the hardest of non-conference scheduling. And I think that's something that for a lot of teams in the Big 12 has been a bit of a knock against them. I mean, I'm seeing college football play ESPN's Heather Dinich earlier this week, after the college football playoff rankings were announced, that in her article saying that BYU was on the outside looking in because of Notre Dame. And I'm just, Brett Yormark needs to get out. And I guess he did this yesterday, seeing a video from the Big 12 conference that he went to the Arizona Territorial Cup last night. And he needs to keep doing that. He needs to be out in front of cameras every single day between now and next Sunday for Selection Sunday, beating the drum that the Big 12 deserves 2 teams into the college football playoff. So West Virginia will get the ball back once again. Andre Devine calling a fair catch. West Virginia will get the ball at its own 25-yard line. 7-0 Texas Tech over West Virginia. Just over 10 minutes to play in the first quarter. So yeah, on West Virginia's very first drive of the ball game, went 3 and out. -9 yards played because of a sack by Romello Height, dropping Scotty Fox back down near West Virginia's own 10-yard line. So offensive line needs to step up here. Nowhere to run. Very predictable play once again, trying to go up the gut on the right side for Sincere Bowers, and he stopped for no gain. Just West Virginia. I just knew this. Texas Tech's defensive front 7, just stout. They can stop anybody. West Virginia down to its 4th string running back. No Dior Hubbard in this game. Just took way too much of a pounding, was used way too much in that Colorado game a few weeks ago at home. I agree with you. What BSA boss? What's your name? BSAW that B saw that. Yeah. What's well? Let me know your first name so I can respond. I appreciate all your comments out here. They are absolutely. I think Rodriguez is definitely deserving. Bednarik Award semifinalist. Butkus Lott Bronco Nagurski. They're showing this on the broadcast right now. Hey, Ben, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate all your comments. Yeah, so 3rd and 13 now, another stop. Long down and distance for Scotty Fox to throw against. Not the greatest play calling, I feel like, so far by head coach Rich Rodriguez. Just dumps it off on the near sideline to Jacob Barrick. He's able to pick up about 7. So it'll set up 4th and short. I don't know if I was going to say, I don't know if you go for it here really close. I've just seen too many times so far this season, West Virginia go it on those like 4th and manageable type of plays. That's just kind of the predictable play calling by Coach Rodriguez on 1st and 2nd down on 2 consecutive series, starting it off really bad. Need a good punt here. Short punt, decent distance, got a good roll. Jacoby Williams isn't going to field it. It's going to roll near, I would say inside the Texas Tech 20, maybe about the Texas Tech 18, and that's where the Red Raiders will take over up 7. Another quick 3-and-out drive for the West Virginia offense. How you feeling about this, Mountaineer Nation? What are you thinking about the Mountaineer offense starting out so slow? Just very predictable. This feels like a bit of a Neil Brown offense. I know. I understand Scotty Fox being a 4th string quarterback, true freshman. We're down to Sincere Bowers at running back, but I mean, can we come up with something? This feels a little bit like the Chad Scott play calling in the Frisco Bowl this past year. It just, you can't play from behind against Texas Tech. And so far, 3-and-out on 2 consecutive series. I know the offensive line giving up the sack on its first play call. I just hope this could be a very long day. You're going to want to tune me out, turn me off if it gets completely out of hand. I feel like I don't want a repeat of last year in Lubbock, 52-14. Just, oh man, I hope that the West Virginia defense can play a little bit better on this next position. Didn't get too much pressure on Baron Morton on that last drive. I figured that's got to be something within the legal limits of the game that the West Virginia defense is going to have to just come after, attack, and maybe knock out Morton in this game to have a chance on this day. So we'll try and look around some of scores around college football on today's show. So noon kickoffs pretty much underway across the country. If you're caring what happens in the game between Ohio State and Michigan, no score, Michigan with the ball. Just under 3 minutes to play. Miami and Pitt scoreless. Miami with the ball, 8:30 in the first quarter. Kentucky, Louisville, Battle of the Bluegrass State, the Palmetto State, Clemson and South Carolina, no score. Baylor trailing Houston 7-0. Houston, man, I really thought that they were going to pull that one out last week against TCU, kind of let me down. So now 8-3, they've played their way out of Big 12 contention. But good bounce back year, I feel like, for head coach Willie Fritz and Houston in his second year, coming out from 4-8 a year ago to now 8-4. Houston putting together a nice 2025 campaign, and all elsewhere in the Big 12. Ohio State, Oklahoma State, no score, 7:53 to play with a win for Ohio State. That would clinch an 8-4 season for head coach Matt Campbell and the Cyclones. I think they would have expected or wanted to contend for a Big 12 championship this year, but with all the freaking injuries that they sustained, if you thought West Virginia was injured, I mean, Iowa State is as injured or worse than the Mountaineers. So I think they'll take it to get back in 8-4 for Rocco Becht. I think he's a senior. I don't know if that's senior day for Rocco Becht, because I know he's the same graduating class as Nico Marchiol, and he had a red shirt, whereas I think Becht, I'll have to look into that. I think he might be a junior. Let's see. So Rocco Becht is classified as a junior. So he will have another year's worth of eligibility. So back into the action here. Texas Tech, 1st and 10, right up the gut, off the left tackle to Jacoby Williams, only maybe picks up a yard. They're showing some other scores. Yeah, kind of turned it on to some other stuff. Watch the first half between Texas and Texas A&M. What a win by the Longhorns on the road, as off tackle goes Williams, able to evade the tackle initially, falls forward for about 8. It'll set up a 3rd and 1. Whew, man, Williams is hard to bring down. It looks like he's limping just a bit, kind of grabbing his left knee, but he's going to stay out there. 3rd and 1, substitutions for the Red Raiders. Wide receiver stacked to the far sideline right, single receiver left, heavy package tight end with a wide receiver. That's Carter Jr. going in motion, setting up trips right. Snap goes back. Morton throws a bubble screen out to Carter Williams. Not a third West Virginia defender out there. Kokora Tarnu late to getting on into the tackle. 1st down, Red Raiders. Like that play designed by Joey McGuire. So 1st and 10, Red Raiders go up tempo on the far hash. Snap goes back to Morton. Got plenty of time. Balls fumble. And Texas Tech, 3 Mountaineers, Asani Redwood, Devin Grant, Braden Siders, all in on the ball. And they slap it around like a thawed turkey on Thanksgiving. All 3 of them could have had the fumble recovery. Instead, West Virginia or Texas Tech will retain possession. Golden opportunity missed there for West Virginia. Get the fumble on Morton, but they're able to keep Texas Tech able to keep it. Now 2nd and 15. Oh, now that was great pressure off the far side edge, and Morton slow to get up. Ooh, he took a shot there off the sidelines, unblocked Braden Siders. Beautiful tackle. That is not roughing the passer, not right to the gut of Morton. I think that might have been called roughing the passer in the pros because of, putting your weight on the player. But we know that NFL, again, though roughing the passer this year has been a little bit weird in college football. 3rd and 15, at least it wasn't that Ohio game. So draw play, Williams, 1 man to beats Fred Perry, who gives no effort past the 40 to midfield. Now into West Virginia territory. Where was the defense there? Have they never one engaged? Fred Perry into the 2nd level. Derek Carter, I think that's Derek Carter, number 12, just engaged with an offensive lineman. Fred Perry just didn't even make any sort of an attempt out there. Oh, really bad defense. You don't get the fumble recovery. You don't get them off the field in their own territory. Now it's on the 49. Snap goes back to Morton. 1 man to beat. Almost an interception. Michael Coates covering up. I think that was Coy Eakin on the play beautifully. Mano y mano. I'd love to know your feedback here in the comments, Mountaineer Nation. Do you think Michael Coates has a chance at getting drafted? Or, depending upon how he'll test? I think he's got definitely the ball skills and the coverage skills to get a look. Anyway, 2nd and 10 now. Back to Morton, up the gut, handoff, Dickey off the right tackle. Pickup of about 4 on the play as we get under 7 minutes to play here in this first quarter, setting up a 3rd and medium. Man, West Virginia missing out on really a golden opportunity, I feel like. Now setting up 3rd and 7. I don't know if we got an injury on the play or Texas Tech's calling a timeout. Yeah, it's a down Mountaineer. And it looks like it's Fred Perry on his stomach. It's either Fred Perry or Eddie Kelly. No, it's Fred Perry. Slow to get up. Oh, just that third and freaking 14. And they run a draw play. And it just looked like the West Virginia defense was playing patty cake out there. Nobody wanted to tackle the ball carrier. And that's something you worry about, I feel like, when you play in games, this cold. I don't know, just when you have the body in warmer climates, you got the adrenaline pumping, you're loose, you play a little tighter, I feel like, playing in the cold. I feel like, I don't know, sometimes in high school ball starts here in southwestern Pennsylvania a little bit earlier, so you're like your 3rd or 4th week of August. So I never really had to play in too many cold games like this down near 30 degrees. But I just think that's the case, is West Virginia just not wanting to wanting to tackle in open space. But anyway, Texas Tech is on a bit of a drive now in Mountaineer territory. Fred Perry down on the field. So checking out the team stats so far. 5 first downs already for Texas Tech, 2 of 3 on third down and 1 for 1 on fourth down. Look at the total yards. 99 for Texas Tech, -4 for West Virginia. I can't just chalk this one up so far to, Texas Tech is just they're not doing anything hard out there. They're just playing very simplistic football. Good play calls by Joey McGuire, and the opposite way, West Virginia's offense is not doing the defense any sort of favors out there. So not liking this. 64 yards passing to 5 for West Virginia, -9 yards rushing for West Virginia, 35 for Texas Tech. Do have a penalty yardage and the time of possession pointing 2 minutes in favor of the Red Raiders so far. That's what I said pregame. West Virginia has to own the time of possession in this contest, missing out on a pivotal fumble early on in this defensive possession. You just would have loved to get that there. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. See, we got 67. That's great. Yay. All right. So 67 people tuning into this broadcast. Didn't know really what we would get because never done this before. So I really appreciate you tuning in. And if it goes well and people enjoy it, then maybe I could do this again for a basketball game or, football games moving on into next season. So big week for the Mountaineers. Of course, early signing day. They're now into the top 40 in the country, according to Rivals on 3 in national recruiting rankings. If you've been following social media, especially in the Twitter sphere earlier this week, two silent commits, it sounds like, made in GIF form, according to senior offensive assistant Travis Trickett, and then even the West Virginia official account posted a fist pump GIF by Rich Rodriguez. Now they're showing a beauty shot of Milan Puskar Stadium, and all right, good showing. Looks like it's a decent crowd, at least half full, I would feel like, on this day. As Texas Tech takes back over, we'll come back to that about recruiting later. Snap goes back out of a wide receiver screen to the far sideline. Carter Jr. is just eating West Virginia alive. How many receptions already is that for that man? Terrence Carter Jr., already 5 catches on the day here in the first quarter, over 53 yards now. First down, Red Raiders, inside the 40 now of West Virginia, as West Virginia's defense just has no answer for Texas Tech's offense that isn't doing anything much more difficult than just up-tempo and playing harder. So snap goes back, no pressure on Morton, throws out to the far sideline. Jamori Robinson cannot keep up with Reggie Virgil. Absolutely no way. One-on-one tackling in space. There's one reason for Jamori Robinson on this team. Caleb Douglas, not Reggie Virgil, and that's the pass rush, not be out onto the far sideline and pass coverage. First down, Red Raiders. Feel like I'm just a broken record at this point. Inside the 30 of West Virginia now. Back to Morton out of the shotgun, hand up off the gut to Dickey, and Eddie Vesterinen getting in front of the Texas Tech offensive line for the tackle. Pickup of 1 for the Red Raiders. That's what you like to see. Can't let Dickey, can't let Williams get out in space in front of you. As we're nearing 5 minutes into the first quarter left in this one, 7-0 Red Raiders on top of our Mountaineers. At the 26, that's Douglas in motion to the far sideline. Twins left. Snap back to Morton. Again, no pressure. Out into the far side. Pushed out of bounds by Jacob Boyce. That was Cameron Dickey with the reception. Just a pickup of a couple, it looks like. It'll be 3rd and short or medium for Baron Morton, who's now 9 for 12, 86 yards in this first quarter. Took a hit a few plays ago against Braden Siders and was slow to get up, but that was one of only, it seemed like, 2 plays that West Virginia's pass rush had gotten after the Red Raiders. So Carter once again in motion. Snap goes back to him off the right tackle, and Dickey could be gone. 20-10 into the 5. Just had the blocks in front of him that he needed. No Mountaineers there to tackle him. Gets to the outside. Oh, down the sideline, scampers for a first down and more inside the 5. Go the Red Raiders now, nearing 4 minutes. It'll be first down. It's a 13-play, 79-yard drive spanning more than 5 minutes. West Virginia's defense had opportunities to get Texas Tech off the field in their own territory. Instead, perhaps going to give up their second touchdown of the game. So snap goes back. Robinson and Kakura Tarnu collide on Cameron Dickey for a pickup of maybe half a yard. Just an easy, slow developing rush play, inside zone run that Morton hands off instead of keeping it. And you doubt that Morton's going to be keeping it himself much in this game. Similarly to the way Jarrett Deggy pretty much handed it off 99% of the time to Letty Brown 4 years ago. So here's Morton, man in motion, setting up, wow, like a pistol set, fake, throws up. Jason Chambers going against Caleb Douglas, uncatchable. Douglas looking for the penalty, pass interference, but good coverage, just too high of a thrown ball. Couple of jab steps. Chambers did have his hands on him the whole way against Douglas, but not catchable. Douglas really didn't give much of an effort. Once he got jammed by Chambers, kind of gave up on the play. So trips left. Empty set now as Dickey goes in motion to the far sidelines at the top of your screen. If you're watching this going right to left, 3-man rush. Morton looking for time, wide open into the end zones. Dickey, no one had him covered. Darian Lewis bumps him. Touchdown, Red Raiders, 13-0. 16-play, 83-yard drive spanning, wow, over 6 minutes worth of time of possession. Well, that's what happens whenever you leave a guy back there. I know that West Virginia only rushed 3, but instead it's a touchdown. Oh, wow. Look at the way that kick faded, goes through the end zone. But that looked like a drive in which you just slice right off the tee. So 14-0 now, Texas Tech. And is West Virginia going to answer offensively, or are we just going to see them and head coach Rich Rodriguez just call, these little, inside zone read run plays that go nowhere to Sincere Bowers? Run Curtis Jones. He's bigger. If you're not going to put Bowers in space. Just really, really slow. Now down multiple scores to a top 5 Texas Tech team. Morton's looked outstanding on this day. Now 10 of 14, 90 yards and a touchdown. Terrence Carter Jr., West Virginia has no answer for him. 5 catches, 61 yards on the day. Jacoby Williams, 3 carries, 35 yards. Cameron Dickey, 5 carries, 24 yards. If West Virginia doesn't answer here or at least put some sort of an offensive series together, I don't know what you do here. Need to pick it up. This is such a slow start to what you hate to see for a team that wants to pull off its first top 5 upset in 22 years. So here's Scotty Fox once again, starting out from the 25 on the far side hash mark, fake to Jones, pass downfield, has a man open. That was an open Rodney Gallagher, but Fox just throws it too wide to the sideline, and Rodney Gallagher can't come up with it. Had him open. Gallagher on a breaking out route about 10, 15 yards down the field. No pressure in Scotty Fox's face. He just kind of rushes the throw, trips to the near sideline. A single man, it looks like Barnes at the top sideline. In motion goes Bowers, snap out into the flat goes Bowers on a nice like a swing pass screenplay. Flag comes flying as it looks like Bowers picked up at least 6 on the play. Texas Tech defender calling for a hold. It looked like Rodney Gallagher blocked 2 Texas Tech defenders in the same time. As we'll hear the call, 2 minutes and 51 seconds left to play in the first quarter, 14-0 Red Raiders. 3 timeouts for the Red Raiders, 3 for the Mountaineers. Holding call against West Virginia. I praise them for their lack of pivotal penalties just a little on the last series, and then they just screw me there. Coming up with a holding call. So that'll push West Virginia back even further. So now they're all the way back to their own 20 or 19-yard line. Fox out of the shotgun. Looks like he has Bowers to his left, or might be Curtis Jones, actually. Delayed handoff. Fox keeps it, flips it out to the far sideline to Gallagher, and Gallagher looks like he'll pick up a healthy 5 or 6 yards on the play, setting up a 3rd and 10, and we get a late flag, probably a personal foul. Came so late. I mean, play was dead and over. Referees huddling up for the call. It's either going to go against Jeff Weimer of West Virginia or the opposite way against Texas Tech. I turned my volume off on my television, so I'm watching the closed captionings. Oh, nope, no, picking it up. 3rd and 10 for the Mountaineers. Just in between the 24 and 25-yard line. Texas Tech substituting, getting into its 3rd down rush, and it looks like they're going to bring 6 on this play. West Virginia, can they defend it? Drop back 2, stepping up in the pocket. He's going to run. Scotty Fox keeps it himself, and he's about a yard short of the 1st down. It'll be 4th and 1 at the West Virginia 34. Fox really liked the way he stepped up in the pocket there. As he gets a little bit more mature, you'll think he'll keep his eyes upfield and find an open man in near seasons. He's stuffed. He's got nowhere to run. Going to be a turnover on downs. Texas Tech's going to take over. Just no push. Jacob Rodriguez coming through. If you're going to call a 4th down play, you can't run that against Texas Tech. No push whatsoever. Romello Height, Lee Hunter, just pushing down, collapsing the right side of the West Virginia offensive line, which has been its weakest side of the season. Texas Tech takes over, and oh man, I don't know, guys. I don't have a good feeling about this one. I know we still have at least 3 quarters left to play, but I don't know. This is feeling like one of those games that West Virginia could get potentially blown out. Did come into this game 23.5 point favorite or underdog, and they have played terribly over the middle of the field. I think that's Reggie Virgil finally catching his first ball of the game. Morton with an easy pass catch, quick slant over the middle. Texas Tech just picking up yards look easy. Snap goes back. There's Williams up the middle. Vesterinen stuffed him at the line of scrimmage, but he's able to fall forward about 2, maybe 3, doing it himself. Just, why was that the play call on 4th down? So you give Texas Tech the ball. 3rd and 4 at the West Virginia 27-yard line. Just about a minute to play left here in the first quarter. Texas Tech taking their time, draining the play clock. A tight end off the right tackle behind him. That's Carter Jr. Snap goes back to Morton, pushing through his Vesterinen over the middle. Braden Siders, no coverage on Carter Jr. He catches it easily. About 6 Mountaineers come in to tackle him, bring him down for the 1st down. Eddie Vesterinen, man, Carter Jr. is slow to get up. Vesterinen broke through, beat the center, coming right after Morton. Morton just takes a step back, easy throw over the middle. Siders couldn't get in on Carter Jr. And man, what a good job by Carter Jr. to hold on to the ball there, as I'm pretty sure everybody and their brother on the West Virginia defense just collided into him. 1st down, Red Raiders. Snap goes back to Morton. Over the middle, touchdown. Caleb Douglas on a nice little post route out of the slot to the right side. And you can credit the field position, I feel like, on that one against the West Virginia defense. West Virginia's defense, I mean, like that drive, it looked like played, they're playing in a few plays, spurts here and there, but not keeping up anything consistently. Needed that fumble recovery. in Texas Tech territory on that last defensive series to change the complexion of the game. Now you're up 21-0 or down 21-0 if you're West Virginia, and offensively you have no answers. So this couldn't have gone any worse of a start for West Virginia in this game. I think that just easy as they're showing the replay, down the middle of the field, wide open Douglas, defended on that play by Kakura Tarnu, who's had a really, really down last season in Morgantown. Lost his starting position middle of the season. He's on the field because Fred Perry's out with an injury, but just hasn't covered well, hasn't tackled well. Darian Lewis trying to provide coverage on the backside in the middle of the field, but just not good enough there by Kakura Tarnu on Caleb Douglas. And easy pitch and catch from Morton, now with his second touchdown pass of the game. So down 21-0. We'll have to recap this here whenever we get a break in the action. But West Virginia's got to get something going here. Down 21-0 first quarter. This is pretty embarrassing when you look at some of the other competitive matchups across the country. I mean, Texas Tech is good, don't get me wrong, but I just think that West Virginia has just the play calling, play execution, slow by the defense to start. Like, I really feel bad as they're showing the crowd and all these guys who are shirtless on the crowd, man. Whew. Good on you to want to go out there shirtless for the old Gold and Blue today, but goodness. Oh, thank you. Thanks for the note about adjusting the scoreboard. Man, you can't keep up fast enough with this freaking Red Raiders offense. As another easily predictable first down play there to Sincere Bowers. Got to put down my microphone real quick. All my brand new. All right, so 21-0 now. Red Raiders. So a lot of action there without any sort of a stoppage by TV. Oh my goodness. So West Virginia having the ball on its own 34-yard line and a 4th and 1. And I don't know if that was just a play call made at the line of scrimmage by Scotty Fox, or it was just one of those, maybe they called 2 plays if they didn't get it, that the line just collapsed on the right side. There wasn't anywhere for Scotty Fox to run on that 4th and 1. He goes off the left tackle and is dropped for 4. Oh my goodness. So Country Roads Outdoors 78-54. This is going to get ugly. Oh my goodness. I don't have this same kind of, I feel as if that fumble recovery that they could have had was kind of like the breaking of the dam that happened last year in Lubbock when I think it was Texas Tech's tight end had like this juggling acrobatic catch off the West Virginia defender's back. If you remember that game, they scored a touchdown and then just completely crushed West Virginia from there. This has been a tough matchup, I got to say. Even the years West Virginia has been good, 2018 and 2012 were tough matchups. West Virginia obviously losing that game to Texas Tech in Lubbock in 2012 with Geno Smith, Tavon Austin, and Stedman Bailey. And then in 2018, just took a miraculous interception return for a touchdown by Keith Washington for West Virginia to come up with that victory. 2017 in home in Morgantown, it was a huge comeback. I think it was down 3 scores that Will Greer and David Sills went on to win that ball game. Just for whatever reason, Texas Tech has had West Virginia's number, more so than I feel like West Virginia's had positive records against TCU, against Baylor, Texas Tech being that one school. Even West Virginia played Texas tough. I was talking about that with my dad over Thanksgiving. West Virginia always freaking played Texas tough. But man, Texas Tech has just been really a thorn in the side for West Virginia during their time in the Big 12. So once again, Texas Tech 10-1. 7-1 in conference play, tied with TCU atop the Big 12 regular season conference standings. And they have both, with the loss last night by Arizona State to Arizona in the Territorial Cup, punched their tickets to the college football or to the, Big 12 conference championship game, which will be played next week in Arlington, Texas at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Ah, man, it would be so nice, wouldn't it be, if West Virginia was playing Pitt today? Can't play that one over. I don't know if West Virginia played Pitt in a rematch. Pitt obviously looks like a whole different team through the second half of the season with Mason Heinschel at quarterback. Absolutely slapped around Georgia Tech last week. Had a little bit of some hiccups late in the third quarter to let Georgia Tech get back in it. Oh yeah, here we go. What's Coach Rodriguez got to say here? At the end of the first quarter, and West Virginia's got 16 yards. We're not getting any movement up front, missing a few things here. Obviously, it's putting us behind. We'll make some stops. What in the world was that throw? Scotty Fox throwing it about 10 feet over Jeff Weimer. I don't think if you'd have stacked Calvin Johnson on top of Randy Moss, could have caught that ball. Just floated that. Oh, I missed the first play. I'm sorry. I think they were showing the interview with Rodriguez. Now 3rd and 8 at the West Virginia 26-yard line. I think West Virginia at this point in time in the game only has 1 first down. Snap goes back, stepping up. Fox harassed. That's not going to be enough, Scotty. Ryan Ward catching the ball for a pickup of maybe 2 or 1.5 on the play on the far sideline. Yeah, I don't think West Virginia makes this kind of mistake and tries to go for it again. 4th and 7 inside your own 30. And that was maybe the shortest possession of the entire game so far, which is saying something. No, I'm sorry. No first downs. No first downs. Almost 16 minutes to play in this game. Ollie Straw with the punt. Looked like he was giving his time to his defenders to get down the field, his recovery unit. Jacoby Williams calls for a fair catch with Mountaineers around him. Give Texas Tech the ball back at, I think, their own 28 or 29-yard line. The ESPN broadcast showing, looks like it was some friendly fire that knocked Fred Perry out of the game. The replay was showing the athletic training unit focusing on his left leg, so don't know if he'll be back into the game for West Virginia, which would be a big loss because you have to keep Kakara Tarnu out onto the field. Back at the 29-yard line for Texas Tech. Snap goes back to Morton. He hands it off. Off the left guard goes Dickey for a pickup of 2 or 3. I wonder if you're Texas Tech, do you just work clock now? Again, you're up 3 scores. West Virginia can't get anything going offensively. You try and get out of here as healthy as humanly possible. Back, same play, up to Dickey. He picks up about 4 or 5 near the West Virginia, over the Texas Tech 35. It'll set up a 3rd and short. Dickey hobbling a little bit. It's one of those plays, can't feel your foot a little bit after you get tackled. He trots off the field. Williams back in on the play. 3rd and 3 at the Texas Tech 36, going left to right on the far side hash mark. Twins right. Tight end Carter Jr. behind the right tackle, looking to send Carter in motion. Instead, Morton steps up to the line. Williams doesn't know where to get lined up. He's to the right side. Snap goes back. Jump ball down the near sidelines and broken up by Nick Taylor, who I think is getting called for pass interference. The flag was thrown very early in the unit. Taylor jumped up and did the little, sword into the sheath dance that so many guys do, and he's getting called for pass interference. That'll give a first down to Texas Tech. I'm happy to see Nick Taylor out onto the field. Not, he missed the last contest against Arizona State after getting injured late in that Colorado game. Had a lot of hand fighting back and forth there between the Red Raiders receiver. I think that was Eakin. Yeah, Coy Eakin and Nick Taylor, but Taylor didn't come back to the ball whatsoever, had his back turned. Nick Taylor's had a bit of a rough second half to the season, I will say, ever since that Utah game that I was at that he had an interception. So now over the 50, and the ball is swatted. I always forget who this number 12 is for West Virginia's defense. I blank when I ever see his number because I keep thinking it's Derek Carter, who's I know is 13. I think that might be Devin Grant. No, because it's a linebacker. I'm sorry. Anyway, pass to the flat was Baron Morton was swatted by number 12 of West Virginia. Over the 49, 13 minutes to play. Snap goes back, dropped, should have been in the backfield, but Jacob Boyce came off the right side against the Texas Tech's left tackle and got Jacoby Williams by the ankles. He's able to fall forward across the line of scrimmage for just about a pickup of a half a yard. Setting up now a 3rd and 9 at the 49, 3rd and 10 for Texas Tech. They're going no huddle, pressure coming after him. Eddie Kelly right in the face of Baron Morton, throws it down into the ground. And now Eddie Kelly, Baron Morton having a shouting match back and forth. They got to break them up. Kelly wasn't doing anything. It was Morton who was jumping into the face. Kelly came unblocked after Morton. Kelly did, yeah, in Morton's face. Morton comes back at him. A little jawing. I'm cool with a little bit of jawing. I mean, you can't do that down 21-0, but you're going to get the scoreboard remark back in your face pretty quickly. This is why West Virginia's defense, I mean, like they've shown up for this team all season, and like West Virginia's offense either is able to just give it back for them to make it a game. Just such a weak offensive output so far. Fair catch. Rodney Gallagher doing the punt returning duties for the Mountaineers, and they'll take over at their own 11-yard line. 12:25 to play left in the second quarter. Texas Tech leads West Virginia 21-0, and it's been the Red Raiders so far on this day. West Virginia offensively just completely inept. No first downs. 0-4 on third down. 0-1 on fourth down. 17 total yards. That's not going to get it done against Robert Morris. Again, Texas Tech defense, phenomenal. Top 5 in the country in scoring defense, top 10 in the country in total defense. But just Scotty Fox been inaccurate with his throws. I think he's rushing. He's rushing. He doesn't have any faith in his offensive line against this Texas Tech defense. Gave up that sack on the very first series, and it just seems like from there he's been gun shy. He's been speeding himself up, not setting his feet. Got to settle in. I feel like that it's slower heart rate, slower heartbeat. He'll get better, I feel like, as he gets more starts under his belt. Just a true freshman. Once again, I always have to remind myself that about Scotty Fox is he's doing it as a true freshman for West Virginia. Wonder what the reception was like. If anybody's watching this game watching this broadcast from Mountaineer Field, I'd love to know what the reception was to Nico Marchiol and Jalen Henderson out on Senior Day. Just wondering. A little confused of Jalen Henderson. That Utah contest, never saw him really go down with an injury. I think it was just because of where the game was at in that Utah game that West Virginia brought on Khalil Wilkins, the quarterback, and we never saw Jalen Henderson again. And then obviously Nico Marchiol played in the backyard brawl, played in the Kansas game on the road, and then got beat up a week later. And then went home during – no, that wasn't – yeah, I think that was West Virginia's first bye week or in between that game. No, because it was Kansas, Utah, and then BYU, and we never saw Nico Marchiol once again. Once again, another comment. Texas Tech will probably just try to score one more time, then set on it. Yeah, I would think. I think kind of depends upon what happens with this possession here because they get the ball out of the half. West Virginia started out with the ball and did absolutely nothing with it. Oh, so thanks for tuning in, everybody. See, we got 64 live viewers. This is awesome for me doing this for the very first time. If you like it, please like this video so more other Mountaineer fans can see it across YouTube, or maybe even some Texas Tech fans. Thanks for tuning in. Love to have you a subscriber to my channel. As I talk West Virginia football, basketball, baseball predominantly. We'll have a lot to talk about in these next several weeks, I feel like, with National Signing Day, transfer portal recruiting, college basketball, how Ross Hodge and the gang bounced back after last weekend's performance. 1st and 10 for West Virginia. Snap goes back to Scotty Fox. Oh my gosh, it looked like Lee Hunter grabbed Scotty Fox down by his left hand and yanked him down. I want to see instant replay on this. It was just a quarterback draw. Oh, they're not going to show it. Up tempo for West Virginia. 2nd and 11. Snap goes back to Fox looking for an open receiver. Has a man. I think that's Jared Bowie. Short pickup. Setting up about 3rd and 6 to the near sideline. Whew, what a play by Lee Hunter, the transfer from UCF. Man, he's just a boss inside there. 300 plus pounds. I don't know how you move him. So substitutions, trips right, twins left, empty set for West Virginia. Can they block it up front? Snap goes back time to Fox. He throws it too far wide of Cam Vaughn. Incomplete, punt it once again. Oh, man, this is the JV, or this is the varsity playing the 8th grade offense out there. West Virginia is just playing scared. This looks like West Virginia after spring practice. I don't know, man. This is why I didn't like West Virginia having a bye week, week 13. You didn't need it. I mean, sometimes you have to play with the schedule that you're dealt. But a low kick by Ollie Straw, gets a nice roll into enemy territory. It looks like Texas Tech will take over at the 36, and we get a late flag thrown. This Big 12 crew is really flag happy in this game, and it seems like everything's going against West Virginia. So when it rains, it pours. If this late penalty, perhaps of the personal foul type, the head referee is just like, what are we calling here? Looked pretty standard procedure for me, but if you're going to tack on extra yardage for Texas Tech, holding, against the Red Raiders, there was some good blocking back, and I don't know if that necessarily constituted a holding call against Texas Tech, but you'll take it. I think Texas Tech looks at it and hey, we'll take 10 more extra offensive statistics to pad our stats and our resume going into the college football playoff discussion. Oh boy. All right. Anyway, Texas Tech will take over, leading 21-0 in Morgantown on Senior Day. Here's Morton taking the snap at his own 27-yard line, off left tackle. Dickey, West Virginia's defense just falling on its face. That's John Lewis. Thank you. He does the tackle. He's number 12 for the West Virginia defense. Just the floodwaters parted there for Texas Tech off the left side. West Virginia's defense just looked like dominoes falling around him. Huge pickup for Texas Tech, now into West Virginia territory. Now, over 50 yards rushing for Dickey in the first half. Not doing anything hard is Texas Tech. Snap goes back, same play to Dickey. He goes off the right side, slow to break the line of scrimmage, falls forward. Texas Tech's offensive line, that's what the fans told Cody Campbell last year. Buy us an offensive line, and he did. And they're getting the push up front against West Virginia's defensive line. Up tempo, over midfield. He could eat a ham sandwich back there. Rolls right, looking pumps twice, throws out of bounds, looking for Caleb Douglas toward the near sideline, setting up 3rd and 6. Up tempo for Texas Tech. Man, it's hard to You gotta stay up with this. I haven't done this since college and the live play-by-play play calling and doing it against like two teams that like to play like it's basketball on grass. Joey McGuire not happy. Substitution, Marshawn Oxley coming onto the field for the Mountaineers. Texas Tech at the West Virginia 44-yard line. Tight formation, twins left, twins right, bunched up. Morton goes back. Easy pitch over the middle to Carter Jr., but he only picks up about 3. It'll be 4th down and short, right around the 40-yard line of West Virginia. Anyone else noticing that Morton's kind of holding his left rib cage? I wonder if that shot he took against Braden Siders is irritating him at all. Hard count. Texas Tech's going for it at the West Virginia 39, need the 37. Audible, moving Dickey to his left out of a shotgun. Snap goes back, quick, slow, easy. Coy Eakin on a slant over the middle, and West Virginia cannot tackle him. Nick Taylor just in coverage there. Oh, that's why I don't think Nick Taylor is a safety. I just think he's playing out of position. I think he's a corner. That's what he was recruited as. Over the middle, Eakin just beats Taylor inside. Easy positioning, no one up at the line of scrimmage, easy pitch and catch, first down. This is what veteran, experienced, championship caliber teams are made of. Nothing shakes them. Snap goes back, up the middle to Dickey, shakes one man, gets through the line of scrimmage. No one can tackle him, breaks through about 3 West Virginia tackles. Oh my goodness. And down near the 20 is Cameron Dickey. 9 minutes. And trailing here in the second, or leading here in the second quarter, 21-0, trying to go up 4 scores. Snap goes back, up the rush. Darian Lewis, thank goodness, tackles for a modest pickup. That's a first down, Red Raiders, under 9 minutes to play. Dickey going to stay on the field. Texas Tech staying in an up-tempo offense. Morton calling the play from the huddle, the line of scrimmage. Substitution for West Virginia, referee over the ball. 2 backs to Morton's left out of the shotgun. Snap, end around Williams. That was an interesting play design, but it goes nowhere for no gain or a loss of 1 there. So setting up to Morton's left like a sidecar, he goes behind Morton out of the shotgun, hands it off to him right, and he goes left. That looks like a Neil Brown kind of play call out there. Didn't like that. Ugh. I mean, it looked cute, but it's not productive. Doesn't get you anything. Eddie Kelly slow to get off in substitution. West Virginia looking to get itself lined up. 2 tight ends out of a shotgun set for Texas Tech with Dickey to his left, twins right. Snap goes back, fakes to Dickey. Morton will keep it himself. Lewis tackles him low. Morton, okay to get up. Not really necessarily slow. Yeah, Morton just doesn't have that speed. Doesn't have that kind of speed that's going to keep any defense honest. You're gonna see a lot of, I feel like, Dickey and Williams in the postseason because it's not going to be Morton carrying the ball out of the backfield. So from Texas Tech going left to right, from the far hash, snap goes back to Morton. He's got time, throws it out into the flat to Dickey. He gets by, oh my gosh, he's going to have a first down. Breaks by Kakura Tarnu and Chase Wilson, gets right to the first down line, and that's a first down and goal for Texas Tech. Just, oh my gosh, West Virginia's defense this day, just playing like they've never played, man assignment kind of ball. I think Texas Tech has thrown once downfield. Everything is just at the line of scrimmage, slant routes, bubble screens, arrow right, inside the 5. Snap goes back to Morton, throws to the near sidelines, jump ball to Caleb Douglas, and he freaking catches it on Jason Chambers. This is, oh gosh, this is ugly, y'all. I really appreciate y'all tuning in, but it just seems like this one might be over already. 28-0 now, Red Raiders here in the second quarter. Or 27 and with an extra point. Jason Chambers, kind of perfect coverage, swats the ball, bounces off Chambers' helmet, and Douglas comes down with the reception for the touchdown. Yep, That's the kind of play that like happened last year in Lubbock. And extra point is good. 28-0 Texas Tech. Oh boy. Ugh. I mean, perfect position. That's what championship caliber teams do. Is they get things to break their way, veteran team, and they're just taking it to West Virginia. West Virginia is slow to get over the ball. They're slow to match up. They're being reactive, not proactive. They are getting some pressure at times on Morton, but not consistently enough, especially when they don't have a designed blitz. And then the coverage units just they're taking advantage of whatever West Virginia wants to do. So that's why I guess checking back to what we talked about in the last break, West Virginia was signing day. I really want to see what they do with their secondary because West Virginia is going to lose its entire secondary. Michael Coates, Jason Chambers, Fred Perry, Darian Lewis, Kakura Tarnu. I wonder what West Virginia does. I think in transfer portal recruiting, that's where they'll go. I think they're going to go after the best that they can find. And the investment's going to have to be made because these Sharks, these free agent players, mercenary players, know that West Virginia, if you look at the roster, is probably desperate in needing starters at the safeties and cornerbacks positions. West Virginia I was looking at the corners again. If you move Nick Taylor to corner, who are you starting at your number 1 and number 2 cornerbacks? Is it Nick Taylor and Dwayne Galloway, who hasn't played all year? If you move Taylor over to safety, then that means really you got to get 2 or 3, I feel like, cornerbacks. This secondary, good at times. I felt like early on in the season, whenever they were being really aggressive, getting interceptions. And it's a synchronous kind of thing or symbiotic relationship, I feel like, between the pass rush and the secondary, that if you can get pressure after a quarterback, it's going to lead into advantageous opportunities for your secondary to pick off passes. And West Virginia was doing so. Remember that contest all the way back in week 2 against Ohio? They got 3 interceptions. Would they have 2 against Eli Holstein? But in the second half of the season, just too inconsistent, it seemed like, by the West Virginia secondary. And they're getting taken advantage of on this day. Now, Morton with 3 touchdown passes. West Virginia is still yet to pick up a first down, by the way, y'all. It is 1:11 p.m. Eastern time, and West Virginia does not have a freaking first down. So I can't fault the defense too much if the West Virginia offense isn't going to give them freaking anything. Now on this day, Morton, 153 yards passing on 17 completions, 3 touchdowns. Cameron Dickey, 11 carries, 72 yards. Jacoby Williams, 6 carries, 37 yards. Terrence Carter, 7 catches, 73 yards. Caleb Douglas, 3 catches, 34 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Just absolutely disgusting. I put this a lot, I feel like, on the coaching staff for not having this team ready to go from the get-go. Top 5 opponent at home, senior day. I understand injuries, all of that, but everybody's dealing with that across college football at this point in time. And it's not like Texas Tech is just, again, creating a brand new offense out there, as they show the Pitt Miami score. Miami swept 7-0, it looks like. And then Ohio State scored, what's that, 10-6 on Michigan in the game, if you care about that one. Here's the Mountaineers at the 25-yard line. Snap goes back. All right, Clay Ash. No, Rodney Gallagher. I thought it was 27, not 24. Better speed there on a jet sweep by Rodney Gallagher, about a pickup of 3. Let's get a freaking first down, Mountaineers. Instead, 2nd and 8, sorry. Rolling out right is Fox, wide open. Jeff Weimer. Finally, we have a first down. Oh, praise God. Oh, and the Mountaineer fans are like, finally. Oh, my gosh. Almost took an hour and 15 minutes for West Virginia to get a freaking first down. Now at their own 41-yard line, Snap goes back to Fox over the middle. Oh my gosh, at the very last second, Jeff Weimer's running his routes, looks back to the ball. Ball hits him in the hands. He's strong enough to corral it for a first down pickup. And West Virginia now in Texas Tech territory for the first time of the game. Up tempo, tight end left, twins left, West Virginia going from right to left. Bowers to Scotty Fox's left as he comes up, changes the play or changes protection at the line of scrimmage. Back to Fox. Snap goes back. One-on-one, pitch and catch. Easy play there by Weimer. And I think that, Texas Tech's just letting West Virginia get those kind of underneath routes, which is great for Scotty Fox's confidence to just nickel and dime Texas Tech down the field on easy completions. We'll see if Texas Tech starts to match up. Where was this earlier? You spotted them 28 points. Snap, fake to Bowers. Oh, interception thrown by Scotty Fox. Turnover, Texas Tech. I don't know if there was just miscommunication there between the wide receiver and Scott. Yep, I think that's the play. Who is he looking? Oh, now there's just wondering if it's an interception. Snap. He was looking for, I think, Justin Smith Brown. No, ball hit the ground. I think ball hit the ground, rolled on the defender's back. I think when we come back, it's going to be an incompletion. West Virginia's keeping the ball. But, oh my gosh, you're picking up first down yardage. And then oh man, you can't make this up, man. You just can't. You really can't sometimes. I mean to tell you, I said this over the summer, and I said this on all of my preview and post game shows that if West Virginia won one game or won them all, that Coach Rodriguez would be back for next season. So take the good with the bad. But at some points in times, and this is one of them, it's sometimes hard to keep that into perspective. I think that UCF game was the game. I was already kind of waving a white flag on the season. I'm so thankful that West Virginia played competent football the next week against Texas or TCU, obviously beating Houston on the road. That was the highlight. I know that all the guys were, and yes, for my soul, I needed that backyard brawl win. So for West Virginia to win that Pitt game week 2, you needed that, or week 3 after losing the week prior on the road to Ohio, and just seemed like, oh my gosh, what is this season going to look like? Are we looking at an 1-11 season? But man, this day down 28-0 to Texas Tech on senior day, not playing for a bowl game. This could, with a loss, match West Virginia's worst season record-wise since that Charles Sims 2013 season. So you're just kind of looking ahead to National Signing Day, looking ahead to the transfer portal. I hope you checked out some of my videos within the last 2 weeks where I talked a lot about retention, talked a lot about West Virginia's strategy going into this roster management season, which I think is going to start as soon as this game ending. As I talked about at the pre-show, West Virginia's got a 4-star recruit on campus for today's official visit, Matthew Lama from Penn State commit, linebacker from Manassas, Virginia, 512th best player in the country, according to Rivals on 3, 45th best linebacker, 13th best player in the state of Virginia. Also, Yendor Mack, a commit to Coastal Carolina, defensive line prospect, 6'3", 295. Also had Damare Williams, a safety prospect, 6'2", 180, commit to Kentucky on campus yesterday. I've had quite a few. Last weekend, Jalen Thomas, as well as Josh Warren, 2 defensive line edge recruits. As we're back to the game broadcast here. And I can't see the ball from that angle. Nope, hit the ground. West Virginia retains possession as we suspected. 3rd down. Scotty Fox keeps it himself. Only can pick up about a yard. So it's going to set up 4th and 2. And I don't know how you go for it. I'd call a timeout. Kimo Makaneole slow to get up for West Virginia. He's still writhing in pain down on the sidelines. But again, very interesting to see. I feel like that West Virginia is going with such a large incoming high school recruiting class. I think some fans are probably split on this. I'd love to know your comments. How are you feeling about West Virginia's high school recruiting strategy? Do you think this is, as I kind of am reading through the lines, that West Virginia is trying to build up its roster from the bottom up for a long-term plan, to try and build up the depth they did this past offseason? I know they had to kind of piecemeal this roster together with 1-year transfer guys. So I think we're looking for a youth movement kind of 2026 season. And a lot of young players are going to get involved. I don't know if 16 high quality, and I was kind of hoping for and speculating on in that video a couple of weeks ago that West Virginia could go after 16 starting caliber or, rotational type of players, starters on all three phases, because they're showing Cade Hensley on the broadcast right now. He'll be gone as starting. You need a starting kicker, you need a starting punter, you need 3 starters at safety, you need 2 starters at cornerback. Do you trust Ben Bogle, Ben Cutter to be your starters at linebacker? I think you need one there. I think you need a couple of defensive line pieces. We'll come back to that, put a pin in that for recruiting, but a lot that West Virginia has to add on the defensive side of the ball. And West Virginia, at least for right now, showing like it's going for high school freshmen. So 4th and 2 at the West Virginia 34-yard line. Out of a shotgun, Scotty's going to take the snap, drop back, got time, and throws it behind the same freaking play that West Virginia did against Arizona State, that Scotty threw an interception, and he throws it way behind Jeff Weimer, doesn't even give him a chance. And this is just not a good Scotty Fox day. Doesn't even give Weimer a chance. That is a play. That is a route that I hope that Scotty can really work on, because those quick slants are deadly. We know how Will Greer just made a freaking college living out of that with David Sills. Turnover on downs, Texas Tech with the ball, up 4 scores. All right, John Lewis. Now I know your name and number. Getting more time, playing time out on the field, as I think Jacob Boyce is slow to get up for West Virginia. 4:34 left to play in the second quarter. Texas Tech up 28-0 at their own 35-yard line. And the clock isn't running. Play clock isn't running, at least watching the graphics here on the TV broadcast. Okay, now we're running. Texas Tech slow to get up to the line of scrimmage. Tight end right, twins right. Snap goes back, up the middle, easy handoff to Jacoby Williams, and he's stuffed for a loss. Looks like a lot of second stringers. I'm seeing Ben Bogle, Chris Filippo, John Lewis, Kokora Tarnu, Jacob Boyce out onto the field, Devin Grant. Looks like some starters and some second stringers getting out onto the field for West Virginia. And that's a good thing. Get a lot of guys involved in this day. I'm seeing Jordan Scruggs at the top of the screen, and at cornerback, Michael Coates at the bottom of the screen. No one's covering the man in the slot, as that's Carter Jr. going in motion. Pass rush, easy pitch and catch. I don't know what Coates was doing there in coverage. He's going to give this up as a touchdown. Michael Coates just did not want to. I don't know if that was not his man in coverage. I think Morton just read it perfectly. Jacob Boyce, that's what it was. Jacob Boyce turned the wrong way. That was not Michael Coates' zone. He was talking. I saw it. I read it from the get-go. Boyce turned the wrong way, covered the wrong side of the field, in breaking route. The zone Coates had was kind of like a cover 3, backpedaling over the middle of the field, and Douglas picks up for an easy giant catch on and run after the catch. So now inside West Virginia's red zone, just bad communication errors in the secondary. Texas Tech could go up 35-0 here. And if y'all kind of tune out for the second half, I would completely understand it, because just not everything's going right for Texas Tech, everything going wrong for West Virginia on this day. Now at the 26-yard line, here's Morton out of a shotgun, trips to his right, sending Williams in motion. So now 4 wide receivers and plays stopped. Officials false start against Texas Tech. Now back them up 5. But just, oh man. And you could tell Michael Coates was heated after that play. He just knew that was where Texas Tech was going with the play, trying to communicate that with Boyce back and forth, like, hey, cover this zone, cover this zone. And what do you know? Jacob Boyce turns the wrong way. And that's exactly where Texas Tech attacks. So out into the flat is Eakin. Kokora Tarnus stops him for a short pickup. It'll be 3rd down for Texas Tech, and we'll hit the 2-minute timeout here with the Red Raiders going in up 28-0 and then getting the ball out of the half. So Coach Rodriguez has some explaining to do. West Virginia, again, coming off a bye. As I said, you would love to have that bye if it was setting up for a team that just kind of needed a week off to heal up. I knew after that loss to Arizona State with bowl eligibility off the table, West Virginia's players' heads could be 10,000 places elsewhere. I know there's been some talks between the coaching staff and the players on who they've wanted to retain, who they've potentially wanted to nudge out the door, trying to get a head start, start on roster management and roster building for 2026. I don't know. I just think this is all the last week of the college football season, as we've seen now, like take yesterday or Friday's Egg Bowl, that the way that the calendar is set up, that it's just leading to so many of these downstream issues in college football, in games that are supposed to be competitive and even in games that are not supposed to be competitive. I just think there's a lot of distractions for coaches, for players. Everybody's already thinking about next year when we know the next season's not going to take place for almost 10 months. And on this day, just Texas Tech looks like the veteran, experienced, been there before, know how to do it kind of team. And they're just taking advantage of West Virginia that just looks completely discombobulated on both offensively and defensively. Thankfully, West Virginia picked up an offensive 1st down on those last possessions. Near interception thrown by Scotty Fox. Go for it on 4th down. Throw behind Jeff Weimer. West Virginia is now 0 for 6 on 3rd down. 0 for 2 on 4th down. Just 2 first downs, as I've said. West Virginia losing the total yards matchup with Texas Tech, 197-59. West Virginia trailing in the rushing category, 105-3. Both teams have 3 penalties each, and West Virginia is nearly, over doubled by Texas Tech in time of possession, 19 minutes and 40 seconds to just 8 minutes and 19 seconds for West Virginia. That's not going to get it done. That's why you're trailing 28-0 at this point in time in the game. I just feel for the fans who have put the investment into this season, that so much of the effort once this past spring to sell season tickets, charge the fan base, get there. That was an electric backyard brawl back in September, but just that almost seems like a whole year ago, that game from now. Let's see. Yeah. Country Roads Outdoors, they're going to have to spend a lot of money. Yeah, I totally agree. I think using up to the rev share amount. Now, that's been debated, I feel like, between other YouTube content creators, shows, and mine. I've heard that West Virginia may not be spending 75% of its rev share on football, which was, I think, speculated upon, maybe closer to 66% to fund more of football or basketball. We're back to the action. Texas Tech throwing it up. Michael Coates, great coverage. Wait a second. They're calling it a catch. Oh, man. Okay. Snap went back to Morton. He threw a jump ball down the sideline on a route to Reggie Virgil. Virgil is getting harassed by Michael Coates. They're calling a holding against Michael Coates. It's getting the penalty is declined. Catch by Reggie Virgil. Hit his hands. Then he bobbled it for a second. Was out of bounds. He's out of bounds. It hit off the ground. I don't know if that's a catch. Why not? Throw a flag. Challenge it. They're keeping it. They're keeping the call on the field down at the 1-yard line. This is easy. Textbook 6. This is going to be 6. Easy for Texas Tech. False start. Jump ball. Intercepted. Nick Taylor. No. Who is that? Ben Cutter. Yeah, Ben Cutter, baby. Jacob Rodriguez comes in for Baron Morton, throws like the Tim Tebow kind of jump ball, looking for Terrence Carter. Instead, Ben Cutter steps right in front of it for the easy interception. High degree of difficulty, but thrown just right to him there by Rodriguez. Love that play. I love the effort Ben Cutter has. Ever since a couple of years ago, I feel like in that Duke's Mayo Bowl, when he was just playing with his hair on fire, double-digit tackles. If Ben Cutter just was maybe 20 pounds heavier and 2 or 3 inches taller, like, man, because he is just all heart, all gas, no brakes out there, coming up with the interception, holding Texas Tech back from scoring 35 here in the first half. I feel like that's a moral victory for this West Virginia defense, that this bad pass defense on that series. Snap goes back to Scotty. He's being harassed. He's sacked. I think that was Lee Hunter, Romello Height kind of cleaning up the work with David Bailey infused on that defensive end position. Loss of 3 for West Virginia. And Texas Tech is really going to call a freaking timeout. Oh my gosh. This is Joey McGuire just being the jackwagon that he is. I mean, I know, man, that Utah game, he pissed off Kyle Whittingham with those last, like kind of the pouring salt in the wound touchdowns. And that's exactly what I think Texas Tech's trying to do. They don't think West Virginia is going to score. They want to get the ball back, go up 35 in the first half because they get the ball out of the half. I mean, I guess I get it. I mean, but what is West Virginia shown to this point in the game that they think that West Virginia is a threat to score within 2 minutes? All right. Anyway, 2nd and 13 from the West Virginia 17. Snap goes back to Fox. Downfield pass to Weimer. Completes it for a big pickup. He gets down. I mean, I know that contradicts everything that I just said here, but like, what's West Virginia shown so far that you needed to call a timeout instead of bleed the clock here? Up 28-0. Now to West Virginia's own 40-yard line. Snap goes back to Fox. Pitch and catch over the middle of the field to Cam Vaughn on an in-curling route. So picks up about 3. Tick, tick, tick. Minute 15 left. All 3 timeouts intact for West Virginia. So you can take your time here. Don't want to play with too much reckless abandonment, but you have those timeouts to kind of control the clock. Low snap. Fox gets it. Deep downfield going for Weimer. He's being harassed. No call. Just way too far out in front for Jeff Weimer to deserve a call. I think that's a good no call there by the officiating crew. Fox threw it deep, and he threw it in on an outbreaking Jeff Weimer. Yep. Good coverage. Couldn't get to it. 3rd and 7, 56 seconds left to play in the second quarter, 28-0. Now at the 43-yard line, Fox out of the shotgun. Snap goes back, pivots, fakes, throws it deep. Grayson Barnes. Oh, no, not Grayson Barnes. Rodney Gallagher. He gets the call that time. Looked like Fox threw it a little too far for Rodney Gallagher. The defender kind of draped all over Gallagher, pushes him down. That's why I think he gets the call there. You'll take that. Big 12 officiating crew huddling up. Now 49 seconds. West Virginia going on a bit of a drive here. Pass interference called against Texas Tech. Automatic first down for West Virginia, stopping the clock for now. And I don't know. I mean, that's pretty good coverage, I feel like, on Texas Tech there on Jordan. The safety looked like one hand was kept by Gallagher on him the entire way down the field. But hey, I'll take it for that timeout call that McGuire called. But whatever. All right, now inside Red Raider territory, stepping up. Oh, fake play. Cam Vaughn thrown down the field to Grayson Barnes. I love that. Absolutely love that. I don't know. Did we get that in the RMU game or no? I don't think it was the Pitt game that Cam Vaughn threw one, but nice double pass. Fox to Vaughn, downfield to Barnes. Hey, man, do you move Cam Vaughn back to quarterback? I don't know. I'm just kidding. Being facetious there. 18-yard line. West Virginia going in. Fake. Oh, no. Interception. Oh, gosh. Shotgun snap to Fox. He fakes to the back Bowers, throws immediately to the sideline, thinking Vaughn's there. The Texas Tech D-back was there, threw it right to him for the interception, pins it up against his shoulder pads, Pollock. Meanwhile, Vaughn take off on a streak down the field. I mean, what are we doing? Just Bryce Pollock, interception, 40 seconds. Transfer from Mississippi State, just read that completely. How did... I mean, he broke as if he was anticipating a bubble screen, and Vaughn streaks down the field. What the hell was that? Anyway, easy pitch and catch. My word. Morton throwing out to the sidelines for Terrence Carter. He's going to have like 10 catches here by halftime. 35 seconds, killing the clock. Dickey up the middle. If he gets a first down, that's going to stop the clock at 20. It's still draining, still going. I don't know why it stopped on a first down, but it's still going. 23. Now it finally stops. Texas Tech lost about 7 seconds right there. I wonder if Joey McGuire is going to argue that one to get those 7 seconds back. Now we get a stoppage in play. The officiating crew, okay, they're going to put the 7 seconds back on the clock for Texas Tech. Now at Texas Tech's 25-yard line. Snap goes back to Morton, being harassed by a West Virginia defender who gets him down. John Lewis might be the defender of the game so far for West Virginia. Morton slides. Now 21 seconds. I think Texas Tech will call a timeout. Does Texas Tech calling a timeout? What? Oh, man. Just a funny team. Just a very funny team to play. I mean to tell you. I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know. Does they just have like a chip on their shoulder against everybody, so they feel like they need to beat everybody by 5 scores or more? Or is it just against West Virginia? Just seems like every time Texas Tech plays West Virginia, I mean to tell you, they don't spare any sort of second left into the game to play. All right, 22 seconds left for Texas Tech at their own 23-yard line, Morton throwing the ball downfield, one-handed catch by Carter, tackled by Kokora Tarnu near the 45-yard line. I guess if you can do it, go ahead and do it. And Kokora Tarnu can't defend Carter Jr. No way. Snap goes back, and spiking into the ball is Baron Morton. 15 seconds to play. I guess a 4-score lead isn't enough for Texas Tech. They got to go up 5 for some reason. point differential really doesn't mean anything into the eyes of the committee. I could just say that. All right. Carter Jr. in motion, going to the far left side from the right hash, snap back to Morton. He's being harassed. All right. Chase Wilson and John Lewis shoving Morton down into the turf. Are they going to call a timeout? Do they want one more second? Nope. They're going to let the clock wind down, and we're going into the half. I don't understand what all that whole drive was for. You have a quarterback playing with a stress fracture out there, yet you want to get him killed. I don't know. So, oh boy. Okay. So going into the halftime, as we start the halftime conversation, Texas Tech leads West Virginia 28-0 in Morgantown, as it's been all Red Raiders from the get-go. Starting it off, West Virginia won the toss. No. I'm sorry. Texas Tech won the toss, decided to defer to the second half. And good decision, because West Virginia just came out there in 2 consecutive series, went 3 and out. Texas Tech on its very first series. West Virginia had an opportunity, fumbled Baron Morton. Got him to fumble. 3 West Virginia defenders around him to try and corral the recovery, the fumble recovery. Instead, Texas Tech kept it, drove right down the field for a score, 7-0. Back the other way for West Virginia, went 3 plays and out. Then Texas Tech went on a really long drive, 6 minutes and 23 seconds, 16 plays for 83 yards, capped off by a touchdown from Morton to Dickey. And West Virginia went for it on 4th down inside its own 30-yard line, didn't get it, gave short field for Texas Tech. They were able to punch West Virginia back, 4 plays, 33 yards, 6 more points, 21-0 Red Raiders. And then a continuation of slow 3-and-out drives for West Virginia. Finally picked something up there. An hour and 15 minutes into the game, like actual real game time. Got all the way down to the Texas Tech 34, threw it on a quick slant play over the middle to Jeff Weimer from Scotty Fox, incompletion, turned the ball over on downs. Texas Tech came back the other way with a 7-play, 65-yard drive, got all the way down to the West Virginia 1. On 1st and goal, a little too cute of a play, I feel like. Jacob Rodriguez tries to throw a Tim Tebow kind of jump ball pass over the middle to a breaking Terrence Carter at the tight end position. Ben Cutter steps in front of it, rips the ball off for an interception. Back the other way for West Virginia, starting out the drive from its own 20-yard line. Texas Tech gets a sack by Romello Height and Lee Hunter on Scotty Fox, but then coming back the other way, Scotty Fox throws a 23-yard pass play down the sideline to Jeff Weimer, then a 3-yard pass over the middle to Cam Vaughn on an in-cutting curl route, incomplete pass, 15-yard pass interference penalty called against Rodney Gallagher trying to make a play. Then a deep ball shot down the left side to Grayson Barnes on a double pass from Fox over to Cam Vaughn, down to Grayson Barnes. And on the very next play, no huddle, out to the sideline, Bryce Pollock steps in front of a quick pass from Scotty Fox to the sideline against Cam Vaughn. Turnovers. Just, oh my gosh. Looking at that's why we have a 28-0 score right now. And West Virginia is just getting dominated by Texas Tech in the stat category. So 19 first downs offensively for Texas Tech, just a 5 for West Virginia. 9 for 12 on 3rd down is Texas Tech. West Virginia is 0 for 6. 4th down, 2 for 2 for Texas Tech. West Virginia is 0 for 2. Total yards on this day, Texas Tech 351, West Virginia 114. West Virginia has 0 yards rushing, 0. 101 instead for Texas Tech. West Virginia getting doubled in the time of possession, 20 minutes and 32 seconds for Texas Tech, 9:28. And they're showing on the broadcast all these fans out in the blue lot, partying, getting up, and that's just who I feel for. Just everybody out there if you're watching this broadcast or tuning in while attending this game from Milan Puskar Stadium, I'd love to know what is the conversation, what is the atmosphere like between the fans, or if you're at home, how are you feeling about this? So, what a bunch of dumb plays at the end. Don't put Rodriguez back in. I don't know if you're a D'Lo, are you a Texas Tech fan or a West Virginia fan? I'll go through some of these comments here. West Virginia has so many injuries, says Jesse Squibble. Yes, West Virginia does. West Virginia, Scotty Fox was supposed to be, I think, going into the season, the fifth string quarterback with Nico Marchiol, Jalen Henderson, Max Brown, Khalil Wilkins, and then him. And that's who West Virginia is down to. Just a tumultuous season in terms of, I feel like, quarterback play. This was supposed to be Nico Marchiol's year. I think that because, and I said this whenever I made a video back in September about the Pete Nakos report that Marchiol was going to self-redshirt and then enter the transfer portal there at the end of September, that just he didn't need to necessarily do it. But I get it in today's world of college football that he could have preserved, I think, and probably applied for some sort of medical waiver to get 2 years worth of eligibility from the NCAA for wherever he decides to go next. I think there's kind of one of two ways that could go about it is or has he already kind of shit his nest and Coach Rodriguez doesn't kind of want a me first kind of player like that to keep him back for next season. Because I love what Scotty Fox has done so far this year. I mean, playing like a better than a true freshman would. Some really good and then some really bad. At times, we're seeing a really bad kind of Scotty Fox day out here with the interception and just misplacing balls at times, just a kind of erratic. But if you're going into 2026, if you can keep Scotty Fox and to retain Nico Marchiol with a better offensive line in front of you for 2026, do you get the type of year that you were hoping for and expecting for out of Nico Marchiol in 2026, post this injury, or again, has the whole back and forth with him dealing with his own like family medical team, out West versus West Virginia's doctors. I don't know. I think that is to be determined. And I think we'll know more in the coming weeks because West Virginia's got 2 high school quarterbacks coming in Wyatt Walker-Brown and Jerron Hughley. So is it Scotty Fox? Does Khalil Wilkins want to stay, kind of take a shot at being a backup role? I just look at some of these other places across college football. I know there's kind of been reports out there. Sam Leavitt wants to leave or, perhaps explore his options for Arizona State. Would Arizona State want to bring in Marchiol, being an Arizona kid? I think Noah Fafito will be back for his senior season for Arizona, who's now coming off a 9-3 season. So a lot of momentum, it seems like, for Brent Brennan in that Arizona program. But I don't know if either of those programs are looking for a starting quarterback. And I mean, you can make the argument is really what has Nico Marchiol done that an outside Power 4 program would want to go out there and pay him and trust him to be their starter. I don't know. I think West Virginia's kind of moved on, even though Scotty Fox was a Neil Brown recruited player. I think he will now be favorably be tagged to Rich Rodriguez because he has 4 years of eligibility. And who knows if, again, Khalil Wilkins has a great offseason. If any of these true freshmen come in and have a great offseason, I just think that having these kind of expectations next year that bam, West Virginia is going to be back in the Big 12 championship hunt is to be determined based upon more factors coming down the line with what's going to happen in high school recruiting with the early signing day, what's going to happen with the transfer portal. If West Virginia kind of goes all in, I feel like the way Texas Tech did, to use a very, appropriate team here to go all in. I just don't know if West Virginia's right there. That, I mean, the reason why Texas Tech went all in, I feel like, on this season, you had Jacob Rodriguez coming back defensively, you had Baron Morton coming back offensively, your two senior leaders on both sides of the football, you added around. It was the last year before the rev share component coming in with the House settlement and the college sports commission that was supposed to be, or is not was supposed to be, this enforcement arm of the NCAA, to try and corral this pay for play that's happening all around college football. And we'll have to still see how that unfolds, I feel like, in the next coming weeks. Or are these schools with these massive NIL collectives across the countries that are somewhat still working, or are working in tandem with the athletic departments of their schools, to try and to fund their payrolls of their rosters? We'll see what that looks like. But I could just say, West Virginia will have to make a determination on its quarterback. And if that's Scotty Fox, and you don't have to pay market value, which ESPN wrote an article last summer that says a Power 4 starting quarterback is getting paid anywhere from $1 million plus. If West Virginia can offer him maybe, I don't know, $750,000, he takes it. Can add a different, especially on the offensive line. I think West Virginia needs a stout right guard to go alongside Kevin Brown at right tackle, Landon Livingston at center. And then they need some additions. They'll need a receiving tight end for Grayson Barnes graduating. They'll need a number 2 possession receiver or a deep threat. Maybe that's Chris Henry Jr. Maybe that'll be Chris Henry Jr. on one side and Cam Vaughn on the other. I don't know. Trying to keep us motivated, enjoying this recruiting season. It's always exciting. We'll take a look around some scores around college football here at halftime. Haven't done any scores, I feel like, since the first quarter, just because with two teams that like to go up tempo. At the half, Ohio State leads Michigan 17-9. I thought Ohio State, I know it's the game. It's always close. Michigan's had Ohio State's number, but this was a year for Ohio State to make a statement. Still a half of play to play, but I feel like Ohio State should definitely, or should, cover that spread. But anyway, different story. Miami's up on Pitt 17-7 at the half. Louisville's up 20-0 on Kentucky at the half. Kentucky and Mark Stoops, just such a sorry program there in the SEC. Clemson leading South Carolina, maybe I think with Penn State, 2 of the 3 most disappointing programs of the teams of the 2025 season there in Clemson and South Carolina. 2 teams that I thought were preseason top 10 with all the talent that they had coming back on their rosters. 17-10 Clemson with the lead. Houston's up on Baylor 17-9. Already into the third quarter, or 2 other Big 12 games. Colorado's up on Kansas State, tied with Kansas State 7-7. And that's a Caden Salter-led Colorado team, not Juju Lewis. Head coach Deion Prime Sanders wanting to preserve the red shirt of true freshman quarterback Juju Lewis, so instead sticking with Salter at the quarterback position. And then Iowa State leading Oklahoma State 10-7, 11:09 in the third quarter. Wow, Oklahoma State actually, making it a game, competing, 1-10. Oh, just as I say that, Iowa State scores 40-yard touchdown run by Abu Sama, the third for Iowa State. They'll go up 10. East Carolina crushing Florida Atlantic 42-3. Oh, very interesting note here with a game that's just in the beginning stages of the second quarter. UCF up 14-7 on BYU. I don't know if BYU got the memo that they're already in the Big 12 championship game and took relax, and who really cares about this one? I think UCF, with a win over BYU, would get to bowl eligibility. So that's something disappointing, I feel like, for West Virginia. in this season, given how much turnover that UCF had from last season. I think two kind of programs that were being compared to each other with Scott Frost in his first year of his second stint in Orlando. I don't know. I'd love to know your comments. Leo Cole. Scotty Fox is not the answer at quarterback. Our secondary has been exposed too. I don't know if I agree with your first assessment about Scotty Fox, but I do agree with you about the secondary being exposed. I said that early in the broadcast against ASU, especially in that second quarter when they took advantage, and that was what was the difference in winning that game in Tempe 2 weeks ago. I just think Scotty Fox, again, has a lot of true freshman jitters. It's hard to compare Scotty Fox against any other quarterback that West Virginia has had in the last 2 decades because, unless you want to go all the way back to like '06 when Jarrett Brown came in for an injured Pat White as a sophomore and ended up beating Rutgers. But um, Scotty Fox, yeah, two interceptions, very, very, very true. Oh, the second one was egregious. I don't know what was the miscommunication there with Cam Vaughn, but what I'm like, my whole point with this about Scotty Fox is you give him an off season. He's now had what, 6 starts as a Mountaineer this year, 6 starts, get his feet wet, understand the system, working with Coach Rodriguez. If they can add to this offense around him, you remember he doesn't have Jaheim White. They don't have. I don't know why Curtis Jones has had 0 carries so far into this game, but you're missing Ty Edwards. You'd love to have some sort of power back, or you'd love to have Jaheim White there alongside him. You need another go-to wide receiver. West Virginia's missed out on Jaden Bray since week 2 against against Ohio. Yeah, Jeff Weimer has stepped up. He would be a great third wide receiver within this offense, but I think you need that. I'm again looking ahead to 2026, and then if the offensive line, if you're going to retain Haslam at left guard, Nick Cray at left tackle, Landon Livingston, you get Kevin Brown, the 4-star right tackle, and then if you can add another proven starter from the power 4 level at right guard, I think this offense can be better going into this second year. That's the thing. I just don't know if West Virginia can make this kind of jump that I think many of us within Mountaineer Nation would love to see them get back to in competing for a Big 12 championship with another offseason. There's just so much dead weight. There's so much lack of talent, I feel like, from the 2024 team that you and like I feel as if the type of strategy and roster management that Coach Rodriguez is using now moving forward was the strategy he used 12 months ago. From whenever he took over as day one is to try but it was hard because you'd already been past the early signing day at that period of time. You weren't going to release those players from their national letters of intent. Now, some like DeAndre Desanor still got out of it, went elsewhere, went to NC State. I could pull up my roster from 2024 and we could go through that and dissect that. But it just seemed like, West Virginia had to backfill with as many 1-year guys as they possibly could to fill out the starting lineup, take anybody who could contribute, give them a shot, who were players who were retained. And he thought you could go for it with Nico Marchiol at quarterback and Jaheim White at running back. You bring in Cam Vaughn. I could see it. I could see the whole vision from a year ago with what they had. I just think it took a whole lot longer than any of us were expecting for this offensive line to gel that kept West Virginia, unfortunately, in neutral for half a season. So this last half of the season, so I'm pretty much saying the TCU game onward is like is how to more accurately, I feel like, judge this team. And Texas Tech, TCU, Arizona State, really competitive efforts. Obviously, they won the Colorado game. They won the Houston game on the road, and now they look terrible against the Texas Tech team that is definitely a top 10 team in the country, maybe even top 5. So let's go through some of these comments. He will bounce. I think if you're talking about Nico bouncing. Versus Scotty Fox. But I don't know. That's what I'm just saying is I think like if you look at it in terms of the way NFL teams build their rosters, are you either have to pay the quarterback and then you can have to try and get away with maybe, subpar offensive line or skill position players, or you're on a rookie NFL deal for a starting quarterback and you're able to build around at other starting positions. So that's kind of where I'm at for roster manager. And there's just so much need on the defensive side of the ball that you're going to have to once again invest back into the defensive side. So here's a comment from Gregory. To my eye, the biggest miss by Coach Rod was how much talent teams need on the line to contend in the Big 12. Completely agree, Gregory. We are woefully undermanned on the line, both sides of the ball. I've been saying that, I feel like, for most of my life, that the 3-3-5 on the defensive side of the ball just gets attacked in between the A and B gaps. Because you're already playing at a disadvantage of 5 offensive linemen versus 3 defensive linemen. So when I heard that defensive coordinator Zach Alley was going to come in and deploy a 4-2-5 defense, I was like praising, hallelujah. But unfortunately, we just have not seen that as much as I thought we would have this year. And then on the offensive line, as I said, it took 6-7 games for the West Virginia offensive line to at least look like they'd played football before. We're back to the action now here in the second half. Wow, talk through. Thanks for giving me stuff to talk about, guys. Really appreciate it. Felt like that halftime went just like that. So we're into the second half action now. Texas Tech in complete control. I went through the stats earlier. West Virginia with just 2 offensive first downs. Meanwhile, Texas Tech is just railroading West Virginia with a 28-0 lead, getting the ball out of the half. I feel like if they go up 5 scores, is that all she wrote for Baron Morton? And we see Mitch Griffiths throughout the second half. But instead, back is Texas Tech, 1st and 10 at the West Virginia 26-yard line to start out the drive. 250 yards and 3 touchdowns passed by Baron Morton in the first half. Quick, easy curl route in the middle of the seam by Coy Eakin for an easy pitch and catch first down. Just found the hole in the zone. 4 West Virginia defenders check in on him. First down. Here's Jacoby Williams. Can't find anywhere to penetrate on the defensive line. Darian Lewis, Asani Redwood come up with a big tackle for a loss of 1. Tackle for loss by the West Virginia defense on Texas Tech. That'll bring up 2nd and long. Big first half by the West Virginia or by the Texas Tech offense. Go back to my stats to kind of give you a game by live play, like stat keeping here. Morton all the time in the world to throw, deep pass, wide open. Caleb Douglas on Chris Filippo. Oh my gosh. Just no pressure on the quarterback whatsoever. That's what happens when you give him 3, 4, 5 seconds to throw. Douglas behind the West Virginia secondary. That's a true freshman, Chris Filippo, trying to guard him, and he just has him burned. No way. Set senior on a freshman into the West Virginia red zone, down to the West Virginia 14. Morton now, I think that'll put him over 300 yards passing. Tight bunch set. Snap goes back off the right tackle to Williams. Takes a buck by, I think, Darian Lewis, but he'll fall forward for a nice pickup on first down. Just where was the West Virginia secondary? Just completely lost Douglas behind the safeties. Oh my gosh. This is what good teams do against bad teams. 2nd and 5, now down to the West Virginia 9. Texas Tech going right to left on the far hash mark. Snap goes back, off left tackle, evading a defender is Williams. Tarnu fell down. Two would-be West Virginia tacklers whiff on Williams, and he's in for the touchdown. Oh, my goodness. Just put the West Virginia defenders on skates, did Jacoby Williams. Easy drive, 5 plays, 74 yards, 35-0 now, Texas Tech over West Virginia. Yuck. Oh, I'm starting to feel ill, y'all. I think I either need to drink some water or, ugh, this is ugly. Oh, boy. And the point after, good. Couldn't have made that look easier. Can Texas Tech please pull its starters? Williams just putting Chase Wilson, Kakura Tarnu, Jamore Robinson, everybody on notice. Leo Cole, we need to bring a die back. I mean, as a player, absolutely. As a defensive coach, I think he kind of burnt the bridge there back in 2021 when he stole Tyke Smith and Akeem Mesidor in back-to-back off seasons. I don't know if he's allowed back in, if he's back in. Hey, Daniel, thanks for tuning back in. Oh, man, I really appreciate all you guys. 59 live viewers here. Thanks for tuning in. If you could like this video, some more Mountaineer fans and Texas Tech fans could see it across YouTube. I'd really appreciate it and would love to have you a subscriber to my channel. Trying to grow this, trying to do more fun things like this. Nobody in West Virginia podcaster land, I feel like, does live streams like this, at least not that I've tuned into. So wanted to do something special, wanted to, for the last game of the regular season. Wish it was more of a competitive game that we could break down. Should have done the backyard brawl, but went to that game in attendance. That was a great day. So maybe we'll do more games like this. I might have to have somebody keep score, like trying to keep score like this while talking about it at the same time presents some challenges, I gotta say. So this is fun. Really appreciate you tuning in. And love to have you a subscriber to my channel as we get into roster management season here with early signing day on Wednesday, and then the transfer portal opening up on January 2nd. West Virginia's got some big non-conference matchups in men's basketball in the month of December between Wake Forest and Ohio State, notably. Those are two Power 4 opponents, and then still a lot of mid-majors. One tomorrow afternoon against Division II Mercyhurst. Tori Brandt with the comment, wow, what a pathetic football team. I hope they're not getting scholarships. Oh man, I said that I've told people this before. I feel like being a Mountaineer fan is not for the faint of heart. If you are not willing to have your heart broken many, many times, that just cheer somebody else on. I will just say whenever West Virginia does win, and I mean, I've growing up throughout the mid 2000s and early 2010s. I mean, it was just electric being a Mountaineer fan through the Pat White, Steve Slayton days. Then, of course, Geno Smith, Tavon Austin, Stedman Bailey. I give this question to Voice of Morgantown or VOM. Do you believe Rod will go to the portal for a quarterback? So thanks for that question, Leo. So I think very well you could see, you really could. I think you could see two, at a fork in the road, there's two paths that West Virginia could take. Yeah, you could go for a transfer portal quarterback. I think there will be some guys that become available. I really like this quarterback down at Old Dominion. I'd have to pull up my notes. He was early on in the season when I was watching for him. I'm switching what his name was. Let me see if I got this right. I think he was the nation's leading rusher as a quarterback throughout. Colton Joseph out of Old Dominion. Now, I know you don't get to pick and choose your players off other people's teams unless you tamper, which happens in college football, it seems like. But West Virginia could go for a transfer portal quarterback as a starter, or I think perhaps the more prudent for the overall team route is to, pay Scotty Fox somewhere in the ballpark of $500,000 to $750,000, which is below market value of starting quarterback value at the power four level, and build around him with a solid offensive line and skill position players. And we get second play, got a jet sweep off the right side to Rodney Gallagher, going to set third down and about 6. Because as I said, there's so many needs that West Virginia has on the defensive side of the ball to restock defensive starters. Just not a lot of depth there on the defensive side of the ball. And then offensively, if you can get a better offensive line, does that heal a lot? And you get a healthy Jaheim White back. If you can add a possession wide receiver too alongside Cam Vaughn, can you get better? Okay, get upfield, Jacob Barrick. Yeah, first down, Mountaineers. Wow, he just fought the whole Texas Tech defense there. Wow, you needed that. Pressure on Scotty Fox, handled it well. But that's what I mean to say is, like, was Geno Smith the same quarterback that he was as a senior as he was as a sophomore? No, but Geno Smith as a sophomore still took West Virginia, I think, to 9 games in 2010. So that's what I mean to say is, if you're wanting to take that second path, as I said, with the investments that need to be made elsewhere, what the hell was that? That was an incomplete pass. So this isn't a bounce pass in basketball. I don't know if this game, like, if you're just mad about this game with Scotty Fox and the way he's playing, I totally understand that this is not the Scotty Fox type of effort that we saw against TCU and Houston. But this is a really good Texas Tech defense that he's going against, and he just not playing well. Pretty easily said. Pump fakes, falls forward into Lee Hunter's arms, so he'll get credited with the sack or tackle for loss if they call that a quarterback run. I just think he's learning. I think he's learning Division I Power 4 football, and it is a step up. So I hope that's kind of I could get a lot deeper into this. I feel like we could talk about this till the cows come home. But that's ultimately what Coach Rodriguez wants to, and what West Virginia can afford. Snap goes back. Looks more of like a wide receiver screen to Rodney Gallagher for a pickup of about 4th and 5. You're not going to get a first down that way. And that wasn't a first down type of intended deep shot play. There's Rodriguez talking to him. And you hear some of the commentary of what Rodriguez has said about Fox. I feel like even since the preseason, love the way his quick release. I think he's learning. He's an athlete. Even that one game against Houston where he said, like, Coach, I can take it. I can do a kneel down. Like, it's going to be okay. You're overthinking this type of thing. Low punt by Ollie Straw, short kick to Williams. He fields it, and he's brought down for just a short return. All right, Mitch Griffiths warming up over on the sideline. Maybe we'll get Baron Morton pulled, and we're getting Texas Tech second stringers. That's what I mean to say. Love to answer any more questions from anybody else who's listening. Love to get your feedback. I think that is probably the number one question affecting this offseason is what kind of way do you go at the quarterback position? Because then I think that has downstream effects everywhere else. But I think it's kind of the decision's already made for you. But the interceptions, it's his reads, and where is his running game? You're right, Leo. His reads, that's something that has to improve. I think it's going to take the entire offseason, through the spring practice, summer. It sounds like from what you hear nationally that more of like what is known as OTAs, optional team activities in the summer, is coming to college football because there isn't a second transfer portal window. So there's more involved. And then he'll have, of course, August camp. So it's a long off season. And again, if West Virginia is able to upgrade this offensive line, get Jaheim White back, add another solid wide receiver. I like what they're doing with the freshmen and JUCO recruiting to add the depth around him. And if some of those guys, play above their age as well, I think we could have like a really fun type of youth movement into 2026. And with the way West Virginia's schedule sets up, if you think Virginia, this is just a flash in the pan once every 20 years out of a good Virginia with Chandler Morris, who I think I heard they spent $1.2 million on in NIL to get Chandler Morris in Charlottesville. West Virginia doesn't have a really challenging non-conference slate next year. Have to, of course, see how the Big 12 draw leads for you. But I don't know. That's what I think. I think you could take a better shot at 2025 six, to get over into bowl eligibility. I don't think we'll be talking about a West Virginia team that's just fighting for bowl eligibility next year. One that could be, flirting between 6 wins and maybe 8 wins. I don't know. There's a lot still to be had. Yeah, but it's the offensive line. So what do you think the final score is going to be? I have no idea. I mean, if Mitch Griffiths come in and it all depends. Like freaking Texas Tech always wants to score. What is this? A hot dog with eggs? They're showing on the broadcast. Okay, kielbasa, grits, biscuits. Okay, just didn't understand that there. Hot dog and eggs. Ooh, I hope everybody out there had a great Thanksgiving. By the way. Hope we can sign the O lineman from Ohio. I don't know who you're talking about there. Is it Ohio U or is it a high school prospect, Leo? Anyway, Texas Tech back on the ball. 10:07 left in the third quarter. Texas Tech up 35-0. Now the sun's coming out there at Milan Puskar Stadium. Love that. Out in motions, Jacoby Williams, snap goes back. Griffiths is in the ball game now, makes a move on John Lewis, gets to the outside, and he's going to pick up a first down. Oh, boy. Flag on the play. Wonder if we get that ball brought back because of holding or something against the Texas Tech offense. Eddie Kelly in pursuit there initially when the ball was snapped. Griffiths was able to avoid the West Virginia defense, evade, get outside the pocket, and pick up a first down with good. He's got good legs, fresh legs. Officials call something. There's no foul for illegal blindside block, second down. These officials kind of been all over the place today. So yeah, Mitch Griffiths in for the Red Raiders with a first down play now. Pulling Baron Morton, but it looks like a lot of the other skill position players are still in the game. Oof. Tight end left for Texas Tech out of the shotgun. Williams to his right. Snap goes back. Handoff to Williams. Avoids the left side. Goes behind the right guard. Falls forward for a pickup of 2. Yeah, good for good old John Williams getting in. Or John Lewis for West Virginia on this day. Thought he would have contributed more earlier on in the season at the linebacker, but on this day, already up to now 5 tackles. So good for him. Griffiths out of the shotgun. 2 wide receivers out wide. Good protection. Throwing deep downfield, and there's going to be an easy interference call against Jason Chambers. He was just mugging the Texas Tech defender down the sideline, pushed him out of bounds. That's when the flag came in. Wasn't a catchable ball whatsoever. Didn't really need to. I think that might have just been a frustration play there by Jason Chambers. Ugh. Yeah, Leo, I'm sorry. I'm not familiar unless you have a name for me. I know many Tech fans think Griffiths is better than Morton. Injured Hammond, I know, gives praise to him also. Yeah, I mean, I like the first run by him out on the sideline, had fresh legs, good speed. Guy who played 40. I did a little research on him after I saw a comment on my preview video that Griffiths isn't your average third string quarterback. And I mean, that's good for Texas Tech that they found a guy, played 4 years at Texas or at Wake Forest, had an extra COVID year, goes to play or transfers to Marshall, then retires at the end of summer 2024, so didn't play the 2024 season. Now he's back with Texas Tech as the third stringer. Wonder where the connection was to Lubbock. But yeah, Morton playing with a hairline fracture in his leg. Had a good day today. Took that shot from Braden Siders on the very second series and didn't let it affect him at all. Just torched West Virginia's secondary for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns passing. I mean, he's awesome. He is the difference between Texas Tech being just like an okay Big 12 team and one that's going to be in the championship game. Here's Griffiths blitzed by Ben Bogle, fumbles, recovered by Eddie Vesterinen, and I think that's going to be a Mountaineer ball. Ben Bogle just shot through like lightning after Griffiths, knocked the ball from him. What was Texas Tech doing there? Was they setting? They were no, it wasn't a screen play or anything. Just the Texas Tech offensive line did not pick up. Yep, Ben Bogle shot through free. Looked like Jamori Robinson was coming right behind him. If Ben Bogle didn't get to Griffiths, and then Vetti Vesterinen, right place, right time. Griffiths now on the sideline in obvious pain. Texas Tech cannot afford any more injuries to its quarterback room. Instead, West Virginia will take over possession. I mean, I still think this game is well in hand for the Red Raiders, but now West Virginia, he's going to trot over on the sidelines to get looked at. What are we reviewing this for? Oh my gosh. Since there's time. Okay. No, that is not a forward pass. He didn't even throw it forward. Nope. Paul stands. Nope. No way. That is not a forward pass. The head referee even threw the beanbag down on the field that's a fumble. So they're going to stick with the call on the field for this. Oh, man, as they showed this 3-4 times now, I don't know if it's a shoulder injury or a knee injury as Bogle's legs and Jamori Robinson's upper body got wrapped up into Griffiths. Oh, Jerry McGinn. Oh my gosh. I hate Jerry McGinn. He was the old Big East ref during like the mid to late 2000s that always seemed to screw over West Virginia. Should be intentional grounding with the ball at the 50-yard line. Be a loss of down. Jerry, if that ball is going right down the line of scrimmage, I'm reading the closed captions, it's released from his hand, it goes right down that line. Would that be an incomplete or would that be a fumble? That would be a fumble. Okay, thank you, Jerry. Just call it that way. But I see this as going forward. He's releasing it right before the 50-yard. No, Jerry McGinn. Oh my gosh, Jerry McGinn, please retire. Please retire. Go away, Jerry McGinn. We do not need you. Why would you go against the ruling on the field that's a fumble there's no conclusive evidence to call that? Jerry McGinn used to be that ref that would go holding against West Virginia. He would always step, and it always pissed me off. He'd like come together like this. I know he was in the Big Ten for a little while after the Big East fell apart. He'd always like come together and then he'd step. Oh, just annoyed the heck out of me. Yeah, I'm that guy who can really hold a grudge for a very long time, it feels like, with college football. So sorry for being a little extra. But no, stick with the play, stick with the call on the field. I don't even know why that this is being reviewed to be was this challenged by McGuire? If so, what are you challenging up 35 halfway through the third quarter? Wasting way too much time. This is a problem with college football, are these constant reviews. I really appreciate what the ACC is doing with their take a look into the reviews. I wish they would make that available to the fans in stadium as well as to the people who are watching on TV. I think that would add that type of transparency into the officiating process that we need, because they don't have to answer to any of their calls after the game. Okay, they're sticking with the call on the field. My goodness. Call upheld. Good. Jerry McGinn. Uh, yeah, so Griffiths looks like he's back out on the field on an elliptical or on a bike trying to move his right knee, and that's what he's kind of focusing on with the training staff. Oh, wow, look, Max Brown in at quarterback for West Virginia. All right, about time, Max Brown. Wow, keeping it himself, rush up the gut, and for no gain. Why was that like not the most predictable play call in the world to Max Brown? Oh, good for Max Brown getting out on the field. Obviously, not the season you'd hoped for Max Brown. Just seemed like every time he'd get out on the field, um, in mop up duty, like tried to hurdle a defender. I think it was in that Kansas game, got hurt. Now he's taken on hits from three Texas Tech defenders. Jacob Rodriguez, I don't know why he's still out on the field. Why up 35-0? Joey McGuire, do you have Jacob Rodriguez still in on the field? You're already into the Big 12 championship game. Anyway, officials letting Texas Tech match up. Out of the shotgun, trips left, Bowers out into the flat. Low pass to Weimer. Let's see if it's caught. Call to catch. Yeah, I guess so. Not the most accurate ball, not a great pass there by Max Brown, but good for Jeff Weimer to go down, pick it up, and that's a first down for West Virginia. So only the third first down of the game for the West Virginia offense. One picked up by Max Brown, low throw. Yeah, good catch there by Jeff Weimer to go down and get it. I would love if Weimer had another year of eligibility. Just adds that to possess. Why are we reviewing it? Oh my gosh. Like, this is what I'm talking about, is if it's not challenged by either team, you don't need to go to this booth review for whatever reason. The NFL doesn't do it. It's not a scoring play. There's no point. Just move on. Stick with the call on the field and move on. But of course, we're going to go to it. So there you go. Was that Leo going back there about quarterbacks and how would you go for so let me give you this scenario. Say Max Brown. He's already transferred once from Florida, transferred once from Charlotte. What are his options like to go anywhere else in the Power Four? Okay. Because I think this could be a similar situation for Nico Marchiol. If he doesn't get that medical waiver from the NCAA for 2 more years worth of eligibility, he's only got 1 year's worth of eligibility left. Do you want to try and learn a whole new city, a whole new offense, a whole new supporting cast, or do you want to try and come back and compete for a starting position? Again, I don't know what it's like between he and Coach Rodriguez. But if he'd be acceptable to an whatever NIL offer West Virginia would be able to give him, given what West Virginia invested into him in 2023 onward, to keep him around when you didn't know whether it was going to be Garrett Green or him as the starting quarterback, would he stick around with a better offensive line? I think that's the same situation for Max Brown, so that you could go into the offseason with either a Max Brown, Nico Marchiol, Scotty Fox. Don't know what happens with Khalil Wilkins. Similar situation as these upperclassmen guys, and then the 2 incoming high school prospects. Because I don't know if it's so clear cut right now for 2026, because again, the money situation always complicates this because of how much you're going to have to invest on the defensive side of the ball, and to get this offense into a situation where it's Power 4 caliber ready. Because this, I'm just going back to those games. Excuse me, Ohio, West Virginia's offense did not cut it. West Virginia's offense against BYU, Utah, Kansas, UCF. There you go, right there. That's 6 games. That's 6 games. That's half your season that you just basically did not give yourself a shot to win because of the offensive woes. So if you invest back into that offensive line, You get Jaheim White back. You're able to put together a heavy rushing ground game because then you retain Dior Hubbard, Sincere Bowers. I don't know if um, you bringing in this JUCO Martavius Boswell, who was 1,000-yard rusher this season. If you're leaving Curtis Jones kind of to play hybrid between offense and defense, or does West Virginia go out there and get another power back out there? I just think there's so much just so much in recruiting. I know that quarterback is so important, but I don't know. So 35-0, Texas Tech on top of West Virginia with Max Brown, and looking like picking up a first down on a quick slant completion to Jeff Weimer. We'll go look at some other scores once again around college football. I'll refresh my ESPN app. Now Ohio State 24-9 on top of Michigan. Miami, depantsing Pitt 30-7 late in the third quarter. Louisville still shutting out Kentucky 27-0. Houston's now opened it up on Baylor 24-9. First down West Virginia. Little sweep out to the left to Sincere Bowers, held behind the line of scrimmage. Does West Virginia have positive yards rushing at this point in time in the game? Or are we still held freaking behind the line of scrimmage the whole day? Let's see. Six positive yards rushing for West Virginia on this day. At the 39-yard line, in Texas Tech territory, Brown, got to get rid of it, Max. Throw it away. I mean, he held on to it way too long. Texas Tech defender on the outside, clear kill shot after him. I don't know how he was able to escape that, but held on to it way too long. Nobody getting open. That's the other hard thing to evaluate these quarterbacks is just are these wide receivers creating separation? So twins right, twins left, empty set back for Brown, takes a snap back on the shotgun and escapes the pocket, rolls left, tries to get out of it, falls across the line of scrimmage for maybe a pickup of 2, flag on the play. I don't know if West Virginia is going to get called for holding here. 6:13 left to play. Texas Tech leads 35-0. I think the Swami fell asleep. I'm hearing him snoring a little bit that this game's boring him so much. He's dreaming about basketball. Thinking about Brennan Lorian dunks, Chance Moore threes. Holding called against the Mountaineers. Oh, boy. Third down. When you thought, well, I guess maybe a blessing in disguise. You now got 2 plays. 3rd and 20. It would have either been 4th and 7. I don't know how they get a first down here, but you now have, I guess, 2 shots at a first down instead of a 4th and 7. Let's see what happens. Curtis Jones to Brown's right out of the shotgun. Snap goes back, rolls right. Got time, pumps, throws, has a wide open Cam Vaughn, underthrown, interception, going back the other way. 40, 50 to the 40. Nobody wants to tackle him. 30, everybody's given up. 20. I mean, Cam Vaughn just pretty much gave up on that. What kind of a freaking throw was that by Max Brown? All right, take that back. I don't know if it was tipped, hit out of his hand. Oh, boy, Max Brown. Oh, yuck. This is ugly, this game. Oh, boy. This is just an below average team playing against a juggernaut, and the below average team has nothing to play for and doesn't really care to play. No confidence, getting walloped at home. Oh my. Now Texas Tech with the ball at the West Virginia 18 after the interception. Snap goes back. I don't know if that's Morton in there or Griffiths, number 10. Is that Morton? Yeah, Morton's back in the ball game, I think, because Griffith's hurt. No. I'm pause. Sorry. Jones the third taking the snap back. 10. I was a little confused because 10's the same number as Jacob Rodriguez, who they've been bringing in some packages near the goal line. So Jones the third back for Texas Tech, the fourth string quarterback on the roster. Now a 2nd and 12 after West Virginia holds Texas Tech behind the line of scrimmage. Snap goes back. John Lewis shoots in there, doesn't get Jacoby Williams. Jordy Scruggs finally plugs him down to the turf for just a pickup of about 3.5. So it'll be 3rd and medium for Texas Tech, as I think Texas Tech has now finally pulled its starters. The broadcast showing Jacob Rodriguez over on the sideline, helmetless. Good day by Jacoby Williams, 71 total yards and a touchdown. Oof, just who hasn't had a great game for Texas Tech in this day, the way West Virginia's playing. So snap goes back to Jones, fakes to Williams, throws downfield. Great play by Micah Hudson, the former 5-star recruit, pushing off Jordan Scruggs. No call. I mean, that's the kind of play, Scruggs. If you got to play physical. Just easy pitch and catch up to him. Hudson in front of him. He wants the call. Hudson gets it instead. Gets the benefit of the doubt. Goes up, brings it in. 42-0 now, Texas Tech. I mean, if you've turned it off and moved on with your own Saturday, I really appreciate you tuning in for these last 2.5 hours, because this one is ugly. 42-0, and just cannot wait for the West Virginia or the off season soon enough. That this season needs to be put to bed. Oh man. This like when you looked at the ESPN matchup predictor coming into this game, and West Virginia only had, I think, like an 8.5% chance of win. I said, in 5 of 10 games, West Virginia gets blown out, I feel like, by multiple scores. And maybe 4 of those games, it's within, 14 to 3 points. And then in 1 game out of 10, West Virginia wins somehow, some way. If all of these things happen, this was obviously one of those 5 types of blowout type of games. And now you're getting beat by 6 scores. So what this just tells me, as there wasn't the kind of, I don't know, buy-in, heads were in this week in practice, just wanting to, get this game over with, get this season over with and move on. I hope that this doesn't leave a sour taste in the mouths of players who have options to go elsewhere. Like I'm seeing Cam Vaughn, doing the kickoff returning. Like, I hope that he still, buys into this West Virginia program. Oh, Ohio State score update. Sorry, I'll stick with what I was saying. Just, I don't know, take it or leave it. If Cam Vaughn wants to explore his options elsewhere, more power to him, to whatever he wants to do. But I just wonder if that's the kind of player that just is like, all right, this is either he's going to believe that there's better things to come for him in his future in Morgantown, or he wants to pursue his options elsewhere. And it's going to take Coach Rodriguez and this coaching staff to have him buy back in. Because I know he's, I think, a redshirt sophomore. So he's only got 2 more, he's got 2 more years worth of eligibility. As we get Khalil Wilkins back into the ball game for the first time, throws a pass out into a rolling out left to Rodney Gallagher, the Texas Tech defensive back, gets his paw in there and breaks it up. I don't know if any Mountaineer fans feel that same kind of way. If you have any unease if West Virginia can retain Cam Vaughn, or if he's going to want to try and pursue his options elsewhere with a more high-powered passing offense to boost his stock to potentially play, for a contender in the NFL, as we're going to get a false start call against right tackle Tykees Crawford, pushing West Virginia back, and they don't need to be pushed back the way they can't move the ball forward. Oh, this is getting frustrating. I don't want to say something I'm going to regret, but oh gosh, this is one of those kinds of games that you just want to burn the tape and move on. 3rd and 12, Now, under 4 minutes to play in the third quarter, snap goes back to Wilkins. He's going to try and keep it himself, and he can't get out of it. Loses the football. I think Donovan Haslam's fallen on it. Oh my. Oh my. What are you doing? Just holding the ball like a loose loaf of bread. Loses it. Thank goodness Donovan Haslam looks like he fell on it. Yep, fell on it. Other Texas Tech defenders. I don't know what you do at quarterback, man, with these others that are on the roster. Or do you just burn it down and get new quarterbacks? I don't know, man. Or is this just a bad day and you just like you can't count this? Oh my gosh. Great punt by Ollie Straw. I'm gonna miss his punts. Yep. 4 years, man. 4 straight years of starting experience. Great kick. Puts Texas Tech back to their own 26-yard line. I don't know. I mean, Khalil Wilkins, horrible there. Max Brown, horrible. Oh, gosh. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, I've only seen any promise, I feel like, out of Markey All and Fox. But if Markey All's burned the bridge with Coach Rodriguez and this staff and, this team, I think it's only you're looking at Fox and Fox only. Snap goes back. Jones still in for Texas Tech. That wasn't Cameron Dickey taking the carry for Texas Tech. Hill, number 23, Hill for Texas Tech. Sorry, I don't know this Texas Tech roster all the way down to the third and fourth strings. Maybe I should have done my prep a little bit more on these guys. Adam Hill taking the carry there for no game for the Red Raiders. Still got a whole quarter left to play. 2:18 to play in the third quarter. There's Hill up the gut off the right side. Boyce does the first hit. Carrico finishes him off for about a pickup of 8. So it'll be 3rd and 2. Nearing 2 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Texas Tech up 42-0 on West Virginia. Oh, man, Baron Morton doing so much damage against this West Virginia secondary, over 300 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. And here go the Red Raiders. Snap back. Hill take a third carry. He's stuffed in the hole by Tarnu, as well as Nate Gabriel. I think that was Nate Gabriel at 93, number 93. Now, 4th down. Does Texas Tech try and go for it? They like to do pretty much all game, or will they punt it away? I think they're going to punt it away because West Virginia's offense is so inept. Odd look. Snap goes back. Flip out. Oh, gosh. Oh, my. And he's going to pick up a huge, what is that? Probably a late hit out of bounds for an extra 15 yards. Guy named Miles III for Texas Tech. The setup on the punt return, try to describe you. There was a muddle huddle over to the left side. The long snapper turned to his side, pitched the ball back to Texas Tech's guy. He goes off the left side for a pickup of like 30 yards. Rodriguez is furious at the assistant of what's his name? Pat Herring, I think is his name. Like the special teams coordinator. Oh my gosh. Like you can't give that up. That's Texas Tech though for you. As the play clock goes to 0. I don't know if they're going to reset it here or if that's a 5-yard that is a 5-yard delay a game against Texas Tech. It's just like that's the thing. It doesn't matter how much Texas Tech is up on you. They don't stop. They want more. So this should not have been surprising for this West Virginia special teams unit. We're outmanned. Snap goes back to him. Hole opened up perfectly where it needed to go. and he gets up the first down. I'm shocked that they didn't get a first or a 15-yard late hit out of bounds call against Texas Tech there. Miles the third now taking the carry for Texas Tech on first down inside West Virginia territory at the 43-yard line. Seconds ticking off the clock, trying to bleed to the end of the third quarter. Jones out of the shotgun, and he'll keep it himself, go off the left side down the sideline for an easy first down run. Nobody out on the sidelines. Michael Coates was like the closest in proximity to Jones there on that run. But, I mean, easy first down. And that'll be the end of the third quarter. Thank God. Oh, my gosh. This is just brutal. This is brutal. What was the word? No. It was, 52-14 last year in Lubbock. So 42-0. This is not a good sign for West Virginia going into the offseason. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. So, I see we're still keeping over 30 live viewers. So that's great. I really appreciate you guys sticking this far into the broadcast, and love your comments so far here in the comments section, and appreciate the 20 likes. So anybody else who's still tuning in, if you haven't hit that like button, please like it so more Mountaineer fans and YouTube or Texas Tech fans can see it across YouTube, and love to have you a subscriber to my channel as I do my first ever live commentary broadcast of a West Virginia football game here. This has been fun. A lot of talking. I've been going for 3 hours straight now, I feel like, but I can do this. Like, this is what I love to do. So it's been all Texas Tech, unfortunately, from the get-go. West Virginia just coming out so offensively flat. Defensively, I think with the way the weather was starting out, just cold, didn't want to tackle, didn't want to put their bodies out on the line, out there with really nothing to play for this game. And Texas Tech didn't look like a team that wanted to take the foot off the gas. Already punched their ticket to the Big 12 championship game next week against BYU, top 5 team in the country. And they just said, okay, we'll play easy. We'll just throw little, quick slants, little arrow routes to our backs, get our man Terrence Carter Jr. mismatch, for the West Virginia defense. Nobody can stop him. He almost had 10 catches in the first half. Instead, really took it to West Virginia, and they've had absolutely no rebuttal. Not a good day at all for the West Virginia quarterbacks. They've played 3 now in this contest. Scotty Fox, 13 of 23 before he was pulled for just 98 yards passing with that interception on that what looked like scoring drive at the end of the second quarter. Cam Vaughn's thrown 1 pass. Man, Cam Vaughn's your second leading passer in this day for West Virginia, because Max Brown came in, threw that lame duck interception there 2 series ago, and then Khalil Wilkins. Just unfortunately, I kind of feel as if is a glorified runner. Just have not seen enough out of Khalil Wilkins throwing the ball that I think yeah, he's the guy, or I see any sort of flashes in him that make me think that, really good enough athlete. I can see what Neil Brown and his staff were, seeing whenever they evaluated him and passed on Samaj Jones for him instead. But I don't know as a thrower, but a good enough runner. And in Coach Rodriguez's system, that's half the battle. So that's what's kind of challenging, to go back to some of the questions I fielded in the chat about Scotty Fox is, do you feel like he's the guy? I also just feel like, a bit better speed. I think that he's taken a lot of hits to his lower body throughout these 6 games that he's started, but not the kind of rushing threat that we're so accustomed to with seeing from guys like Rasheed Marshall, Pat White, obviously the first time around. So going back to the question of, is Scotty Fox the guy? I just wonder if Coach Rodriguez sees those kinds of traits that he could make it work with Scotty Fox. But Is he a future 1,000-yard rusher like Tyler Huff was last year at Jacksonville State? I don't know. So Texas Tech retains possession at the West Virginia 30-yard line, 1st and 10. Snap goes back to Jones, got plenty of time, escapes the rush, gets out to the left just for a run of about 1 or 2, chopped down by Jason Chambers. Also, Chase Wilson in on the play. Been in on a lot of plays as Chase Wilson in his last game in his one season in Morgantown. What a transfer portal addition Chase Wilson was from Colorado State. Worth it. Needed him. 2nd and 9 now, as the West Virginia coaching staff cannot be happy with this performance whatsoever. Now Texas Tech over their per game average offensively for yards at 504, and swallowed up in the backfield. Jamori Robinson bringing down Hill. Do not flex, please, Jamori. Like, come on. I mean, I guess do whatever you want with the paycheck that West Virginia gave him this offseason, but you're down 42-0. Do not be flexing on a tackle for loss. 3rd down, 3rd and 10 for Texas Tech, who've now are trying to kill the clock, I feel like. Texas Tech 10 of 15 on 3rd down today. Here's Hill, shotgun snap, rush, heavy rush, mano-a-mano, and Micah Hudson with the touchdown on Jason Chambers. You got to be freaking kidding me. Oh, guys, where's a bucket? I'm going to have to throw up. Oh, my gosh. Oh, that is why, Jamori Robinson, you do not flex on your opponent, who's 10 of 15 on 3rd down. Throw up a wounded duck. Micah Hudson comes back to the ball against Jason Chambers, who has no idea where it is. Man on man against the guy. This is embarrassing. This has gone into embarrassing territory, I feel like. A chop block against West Virginia. Number 15 is ejected. That's Ben Cutter. Where? No, misnumbered there. Oh my gosh. Hill throws up just like a low shot. Hudson comes back to the ball on Chambers, who can't find it, and comes up with the shoestring catch. Oh my word. 49-0. This is horrible. Wow. I mean, 52-14 is looking better than this right now. Oh, boy. My goodness. Chambers just completely lost Hudson. Yeah, the Swami, wake up. Wake up. I'm mad. Oh, guys. Ooh. I mean, is this, let me know how your comments here on this statement, but is this just, or question, is this just an example of all the things that I've been talking about so far, that you didn't, you ended your possibility of bowl eligibility, so you really didn't have technically anything to play for 2 weeks. You went into a bye week with you the only really hope and help that bye weeks are your opportunities at chances to get healthy. West Virginia wasn't going to get healthy at any positions that were going to make the team drastically better because of just one off week. So you had guys probably sitting around either doing too much thinking or just not like eyes on the prize, something tangible to go and play for. You're now playing against the toughest opponent on your schedule for the season. It's cold. And again, these guys are really, really good. You've come out slow. You didn't get that fumble recovery that you needed in the first defensive possession. Your offense has looked abysmal. The play calling to start off the game was awful. Like, is this just that kind of a manifestation of that? Or is this just like this is the worst team West Virginia's had since that 2013 team, and at least that 2013 team West Virginia had a Charles Sims who was, a one-man show and could make it entertaining. Yeah, this is bad. This is a really bad way, I feel like, to end the season. I mean, for a guy like this, I mentioned him earlier in the broadcast. What was his first name? Sorry, forgot his first name. Lama. Yeah, you're Matthew Lama, 4-star, 6'3", 220 linebacker that you're trying to attract to Morgantown. You're really not putting on a show. I mean, other than like, hey, we are so bad defensively, take your starting position. Just like that's not what high quality players, want to do, especially with 4 years worth of eligibility. I don't know. I hope I'm just not like uh taking this too far. Because like, you could see this across college football, and other places, but I mean, this is embarrassing. This is like, again, night and day of like aspects of two teams. This is a veteran, experienced team who's had their eyes on the prize of winning the conference since the end of last season and built and invested around it into the roster to try and do that. And now they're, 13 minutes and 33 seconds away from getting to where they've never been in program history. I don't care what Patrick Mahomes has to tweet. I really don't. Like Kentucky getting. I mean, but it's just 34-0 to Louisville. This is just a tough pill to swallow. Now down 49-0. Who's going to come back out to quarterback? Is it Khalil Wilkins or is it Max Brown again? It'll be Wilkins. Snap goes back. He'll keep it. Roll out left, looking for man open. Finds a back-cutting Jeff Weimer who will complete the reception for a first down pickup over the 35-yard line. Yep. Hate to see Jeff Weimer move on. Really good one-year addition from the FCS level. You hope West Virginia can find another one like him for next year. It's really solid possession guy. Keeper by Wilkins, looking for open space to run. Almost brought down in the backfield. Was that no, it wasn't Hunter. Somebody named Banks. But he's not able to bring Wilkins down, evades left, and falls forward for a first down right at the line to gain. BYU up on UCF 17-14 at the half. So for the Big 12's chances, and that's going to be another one that's kind of crazy, does BYU get the benefit of the doubt over a team like Notre Dame? I don't think so. Snap goes back to Wilkins, fakes, keeps it himself, nowhere to run, off the right tackle, no blocking up front. Texas Tech's defensive line just swallowing that hole. All right, I do not want to keep talking Jacob Rodriguez to death. Great. He'll win all these defensive awards. That's good for them. I guess what do you talk about when it's 49-0? No, it shouldn't have caught it. Let the ball hit the ground. It'd be better if it was an incompletion rather than a loss of 4. 3rd and 10. I think they are. I think the referees probably feel bad for West Virginia at this point. They feel like, oh, you don't want that catch. You lose 4 yards. Nope. Good. Thank you, officiating crew. Oh, 3rd and 10, 11:57. There's still so much to talk about, or so much game to play. At the 35-yard line, Wilkins out of a shotgun, Curtis Jones to his left. Snap goes back, looking deep downfield, throws up to Cam Vaughn. No, sorry, Justin Smith Brown, way underthrown. Nope, no chance. Wilkins just looks lost. Oh man, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think long and hard on him about if he's worth retaining. And West Virginia's going to punt from its own 40. Okay. Ball had kind of like forward spin on it. Oh, returner Tristan Gentry wanted a return out of it, but he doesn't get anything. So this is another chance for, oh my gosh, there's still over 10 minutes to play in this fourth quarter. Texas Tech's up 49-0. Can they just kneel the ball? Or we're just going to keep going down the depth chart. These statistics incredible on the day for Texas Tech. We'll go back over to it. It's 29 first downs, 533 yards, 11 for 16. That's the one that's most impressive to me on third down. And fourth and down, they're 3 for 3. 355-yard passing yards, 178 rushing yards. Texas Tech's beating West Virginia in the rushing department, 178 yards to 10. That's all you need to know. And West Virginia's got 7 penalties for 70 yards, 2 terrible interceptions. Time of possession, Texas Tech has owned 30-18. I just don't know what much more to say. For a guy who always knows like what to say or what to talk. Just like this is just one of those games you want to get over as soon as possible. Oh man. Some other scores. Let's go to some other scores around college football. Take a peep in at Ohio State, Michigan, 27-9, 8 minutes and 10 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. Ohio State leads Michigan. Miami up multiple scores on Pitt now, 31-7, 11:33 in the fourth quarter. Baylor and Houston tied, 8:53 in the fourth quarter. Kansas State up 10 on Colorado, 24-14, with a minute and 54 left to play. Again, that's Caden Salter in at quarterback, not Juju Lewis for the Buffaloes. Iowa State only beating Oklahoma State 20-13. They have the ball, a minute and 9 seconds left to play, which would conclude an 8-4 season for the Cyclones. A competitive one in Provo, Utah. BYU just up 17-14 on UCF. And if you're BYU trying to create this narrative for the national media that, hey, we're a better team than Notre Dame, we are also more deserved at 11-1 over a team like Texas to get into the college football playoff, then you got to open up the score at least a little. I don't think you need 49-0 like Texas Tech is doing against West Virginia. But I mean, like I said, Texas Tech, that's what they like to do to teams. They like to blow them out, rub that salt in the wound. And I say that kind of half facetiously in a way of like, well, what do you want them to do? You're not just going to sit and kneel the ball every single play. I mean, if you can go out there and you can, if you can do this, I mean, who was the famous coach with Woody Hayes? I get paid to score the points. You get paid to stop them, to stop me. That's what you do. Loss of 5 there, 4 or 5 there by Hill on the carry as Texas Tech takes over at its own 25-yard line. Oh, good offensive day by the Red Raiders. Good offensive day. Defense looks lights out. West Virginia looked completely inept. Coaches, players, you name it. I just feel bad for the fans who sat out in the cold, paid money to go to this game. But that's why we are a top 25 fan base across the country. Live and die by our old gold and blue. just really wish they would reciprocate the effort put in by the fans of these last 7 years in football. Whew. Loss of one, it looks like, by Texas Tech. Setting up a 3rd and 14. Does Texas Tech throw? Like, it doesn't matter what West Virginia does on 1st and 2nd down. It's the money down 3rd down that Texas Tech has just been able to do whatever they freaking wanted to for 4 quarters. In the shotgun, going left to right on the far side hash. Snap goes back. Jones, easy pitch and catch in the secondary of West Virginia. Oh my gosh, how many times is West Virginia's defensive backs going to let an in-breaking wide receiver just beat them right across the middle in front of their face for a pickup of 15 for a 1st down? I mean to tell you, y'all. The defense has just not wanted to play, I feel like, beyond the 2nd drive. I mean, what are you doing? How many times do you need to see that exact play to be able to stop it? Oh. Like, Texas Tech has run that so many freaking times today. Jones is going to keep it close to the 40, just a pickup of about 2. Like, that's just I don't know. I just think, like, all right, burn the tape, wipe the roster clean, build fresh anew. But it's just, if West Virginia is going to do it with all of these high school players that they're coming in, I mean, you got to supplement it, I feel like, with transfer portal recruiting. That's what I'm going to be watching for this next month and a half, is how does West Virginia build back its defense? And now this performance has just put a lot of, I feel like, questions or doubt in my mind about the offensive side of the ball. That's what's scary, is I was feeling like these last 6 games, feeling like, okay, some offensive momentum is starting to get built. And now this has happened. I mean, a nothing burger, no points on Texas Tech. I mean, oof. 3rd and 8 now for the Red Raiders at the West Virginia 42 or 37. No, wait, 38. Sorry. Just balls lined up mid-center, right in the middle of the field. Twins right, a tight end to the left side behind the left tackle, shotgun sidecar to the right, fake to Hill. Jones rolls out right, being pursued, and the catch is dropped. All right, John Lewis, please do not get any sort of personal foul call here. That was 3rd down, now setting up a 4th and 8. Texas Tech's going to punt. All right, West Virginia gets off the field. Still shouldn't have given up that 1st down on that easy little, slant in-cutting post route. Jack Burgess doing the punting, Australian. Texas Tech lines up in that wonky muddle huddle once again, trying to catch the West Virginia punt return unit napping. High punt. Decent, really good punt. Fair caught. I think that's Rodney Gallagher, and he'll be right around the 18-yard line. Feel bad, Preston Fox not being back there. Didn't get to play in this contest. Ruled out before the game. Deserved it. Really great return man last year, especially for West Virginia. Just unfortunately that he's, dealt with his injuries to the upper body, it seems like, for this season. So let's go back to the scoreboard and continue to check in on some games around college football. In the ACC, so Miami leading Pitt 31-7, 6:18 in the 4th quarter. Louisville over Kentucky 34-0, 6 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Clemson now leading South Carolina 20-14, 4:22 in the 4th quarter. We'll go to the SEC. Some games decided last night, namely Texas beating Texas A&M 27-17, Georgia beating Georgia Tech 16-9, and then Ole Miss beating Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl 38-19. So that punches Georgia's ticket to to the SEC championship game. Let me see what that does for we'll take a look at the standings in the SEC, who gets to play Georgia. So Ole Miss, Texas A&M, it all depends. It comes down to the Auburn, Alabama game. I think by way of the tiebreaker, it would be Alabama and Georgia rematching. I don't know. I have to look into that a little bit more. Why did the West Virginia player get ejected? Thanks for the question, Castillo. Yeah, the referee went with like a chop block motion. When I saw the replay, and he called it against 15, Ben Cutter, he didn't chop block anyone. He was engaged with the blocker coming after the quarterback. I didn't see anything there that looked anything like a chop block. Final in Ames, or that might have been in Stillwater. Iowa State beats the Cowboys 20-13. Good for Oklahoma State hiring North Texas's head coach. I still think though that there are more behind the scenes issues than that meets the eye in Oklahoma State. Although I think North Texas is one of the best stories in college football this season. Now 11-1, going to the American Conference Championship game, and with a victory, would probably punt over Tulane, would punch their ticket to the college football playoff, getting the group of 5 or group of 6's automatic qualifying bid to the college football playoffs. That'd be great for that program. Of course, have those obvious ties to Ren Baker, his old school years ago. So, look at this run. Who is this? Okay. That little number 25 on a jet sweep. Is that it's either Amani Weaver or Kamarius Bomar? Let's see. Like that. 30-yard pickup on the ground there for the Mountaineers off a jet sweep. Weaver. Yeah, Armani Weaver taking that. Love that. Another jet sweep. Instead, this time to Bowers. Got nowhere to run, though. Unfortunately, I've only maybe a pickup of half a yard there. Just tough sledding today for Sincere Bowers. No push up front, and just not a guy who's necessarily built for in between the tackles running. But had an electric, amazing play I saw in person at ASU a couple of weeks ago. So another man in motion, back to Wilkins, fake to the up back, deep downfield by Wilkins. Had Sincere Bowers, had him for 6. Oh, man. Took a shot on the throw. Man, if West Virginia could have given him a split second more of protection on the offensive line, I think he would have been able to step into that throw just a little bit more. Instead, gave it all he could as he was getting hit, but instead Wilkins overthrows Bowers down the sideline for an incomplete pass. Now 3rd and 12, West Virginia at the 46. Wilkins going to keep it himself, stutter steps, and he's brought down for the tackle for loss. Esther's the 3rd getting the sack for the Red Raiders. And, another 4th down. Broken record at this point in time. Ugh, what a disgusting game this has been. One of the worst offensive performances I've seen. I mean, and I was there when West Virginia only had, I think, 120 yards of total offense against Oklahoma State in 2021 with Jarrett Deggy. But this is up there, man. So, okay, punt. Oh, picking it up is the punt returner for Texas Tech, Gentry. He'll get near to the 35-yard line, but that's it. Yeah, so total yardage on the day for West Virginia's offense, 180 yards. So he's got that game beat, but 0 points. I think West Virginia put up 3 that day against Oklahoma State's defense. That was abysmal. This is bad. We got a flag just delaying the inevitable. This officiating crew, I hope, is not on the Big 12 championship game. Hopefully this is... Yeah, hold on. Oh, my TV. No. fumbling my remote here. My TV thinks, I think because I haven't had enough. Okay, there we go. We're good. My TV wanted to shut itself off. Something targeting here. Called against Texas Tech. Illegal blindside block with targeting on Texas Tech. Are we going to have to go to review? Carson, I appreciate the effort today, my man. You're a fine Mountaineer. You kind of remind me Bob Euchre on Major League at this point. Love the show, brother. Appreciate you tuning in, Brian. As always, thanks for being one of my usual commenters on all my videos. I need it, man. I need the prayers after this one. This is one that just got to shower this one off and move on with my day. Goodness gracious, this has been ugly. I try, man. For better or worse, I tell people who always see my West Virginia old gold and blue out in public. Just, oh man, they can drive you crazy. Because you just, if you're like me, you always try to look on the bright side. I'm the optimist, I feel like. And just, man, this program has not given me a lot of things to be optimistic about in the last 7 years. And I think they're turning a corner when I think that things are on the right track. Like things like this happen and they get beat 49-0 at home on senior day to end out the season. So please, everybody in the comment section, please tell me like whether I'm crazy or if you're feeling the same kinds of way right now. Like, how are you feeling after this kind of a performance? I mean, should we not have this overblown? Is this just, um, you ran into your fiercest opponent in the last game of the season, or is this worse than what you were expecting? I mean, 23.5 point dog. I would have thought that West Virginia could have keeping it closer than 49-0. But man, this is just ugly. Texas Tech with the ball again. It's been saying this all day. Now over 30 first downs for the Red Raiders at their own 20. Far side hash mark. Pitch play out to Hill. Hill gets to the outside. Fights for extra yardage. Gets to about 8. Tarnu, Bomar in on the tackle. Excuse me, that was Miles the third doing the rushing for Texas Tech. Tick, tick, tick. Work that clock. Now under 6 minutes to play for the Red Raiders. It's just tough, man. Like I'm already getting some of the texts and messages from my Pitt fan friends. Just like expect better effort. West by God 304. Thanks for the comment, brother. I always appreciate it. Thanks. Most of our guys gave up after our last loss. There's nothing left to play for. Bad luck and injuries. This year has been off the chain with straight bad luck. You're right. I think since week 2 against Ohio, I mean, I go back to that one. That was one I felt like that set me into a, depression there for at least until the backyard brawl happened the next week, because it was not only that the loss, that the way that you lost. Losing Jaheim White for the rest of the season. I mean, just getting absolutely embarrassed up front, it felt like, against a MAC defense. I do think that's when Nico Marchiol suffered, the first hint, the injury that then lingered through the backyard brawl, exacerbated into the Kansas game. Pass goes out wide. Why the West Virginia defensive back gave Keyshawn Robinson gave 20 yards worth of, leeway behind the line of scrimmage there. I mean, just gave him the catch, gave him the first down. Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, it looked bleak. It looked really bleak there. I felt like the Kansas, Utah, BYU stretch. Then through the bye week, you thought against maybe the team. I think if West Virginia should have won 2 games this season more than it had to get to 6-6, it would have been that UCF game and it would have been the Ohio game. Could have had more. Could have had that Arizona State game a couple of weeks ago against Jeff Sims. Snap goes back. I think this is Hill back in the ball game. Yeah, definitely the third stringers are in on the field for the defense now. That's Jackson Beiser getting some playing time on senior day. Yeah, I mean, but then of course, West Virginia gives us faith, gives us hope, gives us, some motivation as fans to tune in for the second half of the season. And what do you know? They they like make us buy back in with that effort against TCU, then upsetting Houston, beating Colorado at home, thinking they're turning the corner. And then just, man, they needed that. They needed that win in Tempe. I knew it. I knew they needed that. I said, like my dad asked me, what would you rather have, that game or this game? I said this game wouldn't be, winnable. I felt like without that win 2 weeks ago against ASU, and I proved to be right. You needed that win. Instead, it was just guys kind of going through the motions out there, and you're not going to beat a top 5 team in the country just going through the motions, collecting an NIL check. All right. Thank goodness. We're closing in on the 2-minute mark to the 2-minute timeout. Just don't give up a touchdown here. Don't give up a touchdown. Snap goes back, up the gut to Hill. Second effort. He gets the first down. Clock will stop just over midfield. And with the timeout, that'll bring us another stop in the action. So once again, want to tell everybody, thank you for tuning in for this first ever live commentary play-by-play broadcast. I hope you've enjoyed it, even though despite the 49-0 lackluster result, would have hoped that I could have turned this blue on the scoreboard to make it more of a competitive game. And if you've liked this video, please like it so more Mountaineer fans can see it across YouTube, and anyone who potentially might tune in for a little bit of a replay after the fact, because this has been a lot of fun. Maybe we'll do it again for basketball time. And then, as we look ahead already to next season. So been a lot of fun to have it here with you here on YouTube. And then, of course, we'll be back later in the week as we have the early National Signing Day on Wednesday and talk about this high school JUCO recruiting class for West Virginia that now has over 30 players committed. And West Virginia's counting, keep counting. But it'll be very, very, very interesting to watch the roster management over the course of the next 6 weeks. Starting it off with that early signing day, anything that breaks across social media, or any news that gets brought out there about anyone who potentially might be entering the transfer portal, or anybody who West Virginia truly wants to retain and keep for next year that might be entertaining the transfer portal. Sean, does West Virginia get a mid to high level player at quarterback from the portal? And then West by God question. After this game, I'm starting to wonder if we should get a good quarterback in the portal, but at the same time, Fox is only a true freshman, so I know he hasn't come close to peaking yet. That, to both your guys' points, that's been my debate for the last 3.5 hours. The way Scotty played last game out against ASU, and now this game, I think he's now lost some money. I think he gained some money on the way he played against TCU and Houston. And now I'm thinking to myself, like, does West Virginia even need to go out there and spend $750,000, make him their highest paid offensive returner? I know, just because he's a quarterback, that would definitely happen. Just because that's what the market bears. But I mean, do you want to go out there and pay even close to what starters across the Big 12 or nationally are getting paid? That's going to be the debate. That is for Chuck Lilly and Rich Rodriguez to figure out, is how do they manage the rev share operation, and what is their general outlook for 2026? Because right now I just still see so many holes on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball that you have to address. That if this, I know Hoppy Kercheval said this many weeks ago on the Three Guys Before the Game broadcast, kind of entertaining the debate on whether this was a year zero or not. I am starting to like kind of feel that way, as that's how it was designed from the beginning, with all of the first year players that West Virginia brought in, or 1 year guys that West Virginia brought in. And now they're trying to reload with a giant high school recruiting class that they're bringing in. Thank goodness Texas Tech is going to put this game to bed. They're going to just kneel it out. West Virginia still having 3 timeouts. They're not going to use them and end this game mercifully. Oh man, I do. I just really feel bad for all the Mountaineer fans who took the time out of their Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving weekend. They could have gone anything with this Saturday, and they went out there and they saw that game. So last time for these 40 seniors who are part of this program, from the guys who are, part of their 5th years, like Eddie Vesterinen, Hammond Russell the third or the fourth, seeing him getting some hugs and dapping up some guys on the sidelines, to the 1-year guys that were all brought in this past off season. Yep, this will conclude the regular season. Texas Tech will finish 11-1 with only its one and only blemish, a conference loss at Arizona State. West Virginia falling to 4-8, 2-7 in Big 12 play, concluding the worst season for West Virginia football since 2013 when they finished 4-8. And that'll do it, as both teams will shake hands and they'll call it. We'll wrap up here. I don't think I need to make any sort of a necessarily post-game recap video. I don't think anybody cares to watch that, down 49-0. So West Virginia loses this one on senior day, 49-0 to Texas Tech, in an effort that just was not good enough on both sides of the ball, both phases. And special teams too, giving up a punt return, like 4th down trick play that Texas Tech went through. Just incredible offensive performance by Texas Tech, not doing anything that took a lot of effort on the day, and still coming away with 572 yards of total offense, 384 passing, 188 rushing. Did have 2 turnovers, but still didn't matter at the end of the day. West Virginia only 9 first downs, 180 total yards on the day, just 37 yards of rushing offense. Doubled in time of possession. Texas Tech had the ball for 40 minutes to West Virginia's 20 exactly. And then for West Virginia to break it down specifically on that side of the ball, not a good enough day by Scotty Fox at quarterback. 13 of 23 for 98 yards with an interception. Khalil Wilkins came in the third stringer, 1 for 5, 9 yards passing. Max Brown, 1 for 3, 7 yards with an interception. Rushing, the longest rushing play was that Armani Weaver jet sweep for 29 yards. Sincere Bowers, nowhere to run, 5 carries, 3 yards. Curtis Jones, 1 carry for 3 yards. Receiving on the day, Jeff Weimer did the bulk of the yeoman's work, 6 catches for 77 yards. Unfortunately, a day that just, I don't know, from the game scheming aspect or just what happened, not good enough to get Cam Vaughn the ball. 2 catches, no yards on the day. You just hope at this point in time that you can sell Cam Vaughn on the future of the West Virginia offense so that he doesn't test the transfer portal waters elsewhere. So that's kind of all she wrote. Like I don't know what the game could have happened if in the second defensive possession, West Virginia would have got that fumble recovery deep in Texas Tech territory, turned the ball over, could have potentially matched the game back 7-7, sparked your defense. But I don't know, just the way that this one entered, I don't think, from a coach's standpoint, from a player's standpoint, that anybody was really invested in playing this game. So that's just, for a first year head coach, Well, I know, he's had many years worth of coaching, but for Coach Rodriguez, this is one that shower off, move on to the offseason and move forward. But this was the kind of effort like last year for a sixth year coach in his sixth year in Neil Brown that got himself fired. That's not good enough. 49 nothing is not good enough against a Texas Tech team. So they are starting from the bottom. They're from the ground up. West Virginia has to take this one on the chin, and they need to evaluate, pause and reflect, as I always like to say on the program, of where do they want to go from here. Do they want to just scorched earth, burn it down to the ground, and move on, with a completely brand new roster? Because that's what they're really going to have to do. Just how do they want to do it? Is they wanted to go whole hog into high school recruiting and build that way? I don't know. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered, I feel like, in these next 6 weeks when the transfer portal opens and closes, early signing day, and stuff like that. But this was fun. Really appreciate it for everybody who tuned in from kickoff to game's end. I really appreciate you tuning in for this. My first ever attempt at a live stream with live commentary. This has been fun. As I always say, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog that I do this each and every week and have a lot of fun doing it. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving with your friends and family. Thanks for tuning in to the Old Gold and Blue once again. That we'll have better days ahead, Mountaineer Nation, and I'll be here for it. So we'll talk later this week about the early signing day. Of course, we'll have basketball to turn in for, but put this 2025 season to bed. Move on. Appreciate it for that backyard brawl win. Appreciate it for that win on the road at Houston, who was ranked at the time. But burn it down to the ground in the annals of history and of West Virginia football, and let's look ahead to 2026, everybody. So thanks for tuning in. Hail West Virginia. Let's go.